We paid
a
union
little
dues.
halfling guy. I remember now.
Yeah.
And now
we're officially an inn
yeah,
because
or at
that's
least
what
we
we
have
have
a
to be
license,
classified as. We're according to the
For
subsection. Subsection A13.
Yeah.
All bars
well,
are
the guy
considered hotels.
the guy who showed up, Broxley, was with the Fellowship of Innkeepers, and so you guys have got that squared away. And because he's got connections with the rest of the guilds, the sort of labor guilds, he can very quickly arrange for you to have the Carpenters Guild come by, or the Glassblowers, or whatever you need.
Quick and easy.
And they can give you sort of quotes and estimates and stuff like that, and you can get on your way to restoring Trollskull Manor to its new
Former?
glory. I won't say former glory, I'll say new glory. I guess it wouldn't be restoring. Promoting Trollskull Manor to its new glory.
The only place in Waterdeep with a ghost park.
Hey, that's
Well,
marketing
the
right
second
there.
place. They don't talk about the first place.
We're not the first.
No, sorry. Waterdeep's a big place. Everything's already been done. It's like Los Angeles.
Oh wow.
So then with our last session, then Stephen and Nick, you guys were in a bit of a conundrum. Stephen's character had been
we were
dirted
hit
or
we
something.
Were,
Had been hit.
yeah,
And you were being, at the very least, maybe not arrested, but you were being held.
we were told some information. I'm trying to remember what that
Accosted
was.
by the police.
Yes.
Because we went to go see Jamart, and he told us.
Now see, Jamart was smart. He was paranoid as all hell.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
We
smart Jamar.
weren't.
that's true. However, some would say we're not we're not the savvy adventurers yet. We're just
That's fair.
adventurers.
We told you some information about where you could find where the deal could have been brokered for the booze.
Was it an Enel?
Hennel? You mentioned
Yeah.
a half-elf whiskey smuggler? named
Deals in stolen whiskey.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Cool. Yeah, that's it.
As our next person to chat with.
Assuming we don't go straight to prison.
Well, you go to prison. I be left on the street. I don't know what healthcare's like here.
You get coup de grace.
Yeah, it's for your own good.
Well, there's no helping this woman.
Mercy kill.
She's
Guards
better
are
off
going
this
on
way.
Bonking people.
They don't get paid enough,
No.
so they have to find their own fun. No, you'll be stone dead in a moment.
Yeah, it's basically that. Yeah.
How do you feel happy?
Right, same time next week.
You're not fooling anyone.
Okay, so. Alright, well, that gives me
A lot to go off
a little to go, a moderate amount to go off.
of. Son.
Okay, so. Well, I think the most expedient thing would be to deal with Cid and Nora's problem right away.
That's fair.
Which is more pressing.
And
We'll wait till next week.
And entertaining. So, last time we were together, Nora was hit with some kind of projectile, which
Not
we're
even
not
sure
sure
it's
exactly what yet, but it was enough to lay you out flat.
Oh yeah.
Al-Cid, you noticed this,
It's mostly the poison.
Yes.
and you were flabbergasted, I believe. I think it was appropriate word to use there.
Yeah, I was like,
And at the same time, it was a loud firing, right? It sounded like, there was clearly a shot of some kind, right? It's producing quite a lot of sound. So that carried through the area of Shark Street and its sort of surroundings and brought the City Watch down the alleyway to then hold you up
Sure,
and
yeah.
tell you not to move
Yeah.
your Miranda rights.
oh,
et
yeah,
cetera, et
yeah. Hands on the ground. Go around.
Your Miranda rights will be read at your funeral. Buy Miranda to bring her.
I'm not Miranda.
Let me tell you about my rights.
Your last rights are the Miranda rights.
So, yeah, like they come to me, and I remember like attempting to shout at some people on the street, be like, "Go find a guard or something."
Go find the guard. And
as I like pull you, I'm like dragging you like away from where you were hit to like prop you up against like a building or something, and be like, "Say here, I'm gonna get a guard."
Comical like Weekends at Bernie's
Yeah,
style.
exactly.
What do I do with this body?
Yeah, I'm too weak to like actually like carry, so I'm just like,
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't think we have.
yeah, we're a bunch of weaklings. None of us have a muscle on us.
Like, I think 10 is our highest.
Yeah, I
strength?
think somebody has a 10.
No, we
Yeah,
saw
you
this
guys
last
are-
time. With
you
the
guys are
ball
all
eight.
big.
I think we're all 8.
I'm an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all 8.
Oh, we're all 8.
We're all eights. We are all eights. There's gonna be a weightlifting competition at some point. So
Oh,
just,
what it was is we're all 8s, but somebody has athletics.
Yeah, I have it trained.
there we go. The one nerd who was kind of good at basketball in gym class.
Yeah, I'm more of the.
Fluke.
I'm more of the.
Wasn't last
guard
pick, but it
where,
was
where I
like-
hold the ball and pass it.
Third to last.
It's the kind of argument where you're like, well, badminton is technically a sport.
It's a technical sport.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I see you're getting in the character.
Speaking of shuttlecocks,
In college, I had to take a physical education class.
Mm-hmm.
Bowling counted, so I took it.
right? Sure. I took golf when I was in college.
Nice.
And yoga, and it's like, what's the point? Tennis too. I wasn't good at any of those things. Anyway,
It's alright.
so there you are in Shark Street in the C Ward. You've just seen Nora fall to the ground, clearly hurt, clearly unconscious now.
Yeah.
Ready those death saves?
No, we
got those done.
Yeah, we stabilized.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Because I was like,
Here's one thing I can do. So a handful of City Watch guards are making their way down Shark Street from both sides. They're sort of closing in on you. They have there are a handful who have not drawn their
Yeah, but
swords
they're
yet,
like-
but they're ready, and there are a few that have got hand crossbows trained to do as they're moving
Right.
forward.
right.
It's a setup. Time to run.
Look at my level. Look at my HP.
That didn't stop you in Star Wars.
Yes.
Well, Drake was a whole other character.
Different time.
Different time, different place.
Long
I
time
was
ago,
I was
yeah.
younger then.
Galaxy far, far away. Different mistakes.
Different.
So
Then there was
God.
Watcher.
the chief most City Watch guard
Yeah.
is he's got the hand crossbow
Yeah.
drawn. Don't move.
You
Keep
got
your
it.
hands up where you can see him.
You got it.
He moves forward. He does sort of some quick hand gestures to his agents behind him. They close in on the area. You see one of them makes his way off and crouches next to Nora's body to do sort of a quick kind of check. The main guy who just spoke to you has got his crossbow directly at your chest, and he's giving you sort of a piercing look. What exactly happened here?
My friend and I were on the dock.
Oh, easy on the gestures. Hands up. Slowly, clearly.
What are you, Italian?
My friend and I were on the dock. He was attacked.
She.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Come on.
This is a woman.
Sorry.
Your story's falling apart.
There are holes everywhere.
You're going to jail.
False testimony.
She was attacked, and I attempted to help, and then you guys came. I think she was hit with some. Do I remember when analyzing what the wound kind of was?
I don't recall. No.
I remember looking at it. What does it look like?
There was no arrow or anything.
It
But you saw it, like, smelled it faster.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying.
was
It did
kind of
look
like hissing and
We
festering.
determined you were an X-Files super soldier.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Vaguely
It
Norwegian.
looks like it's a sizable hole. It's clearly.
Nice.
It was clearly like a. If it was a dart or an arrow, it was like a thick fucking dart.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead and give me sort of a retroactive like investigation check. I think that'll-
Sure.
Or you do medicine as well. I think medicine would be appropriate as well.
Medical investigation.
11.
11?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that and go, you come to the conclusion that, all right, this can't be a dart or an arrow. Like an arrow doesn't make that kind of shot. It's probably a pistol bullet.
That's a thing?
Yeah. Like really, like rudimentary firearms, the kind of thing where you have to like load smoke powder into it and everything. That is absolutely a thing.
Okay.
And so are bullets and shells.
Yeah, and they're kind of a fun to look at. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't sure that.
Now they're not widely available, but
Okay, cool.
they're a thing. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so yeah, maybe you've seen an item like this, or at the very least, it looks like it's. But the one noticeable feature is that it's festering, right? It looks like it's gross.
It's like kind of
Hissing, yeah.
It's a kind of like a white kind of foaming, and there's a foul smell
Yeah.
and everything.
Okay, so I'm like, was hit with something and it hissed on her neck, and I didn't know what it was.
All right, shut up.
Save her, please.
He looks down at the guard attending to Nora. Fairfax, where do we go? He takes a quick look, moves around her shoulders and everything, checks her limbs and appendages and everything. Well, sir, the story that a gentleman here says checks out. There's a clear wound here. Looks like a pistol wound here in the back. And if I'm not mistaken, that is poison. Yeah, this is looking a lot like And he gives him a kind of a look, and the two of them exchange glances, kind of do a quick nod. Right. Well, naturally, without some sort of witness support, we'll have to take you into custody. Make sure you're questioned. You'll follow us, I take it.
Will she be okay?
Our men here will take care of her. Fairfax, Brimley, grab the body, bring it along. You going to come quietly and orderly, or am I going to have to keep this pointed at your chest?
No need. I'm going to be completely quiet. Can I put my hands down?
No.
Okay.
All right, boys, secure the area.
It's
Head back to HQ. And the two, small contingent of the guard picks up Nora's body and begins carrying her and escorting you out of the Sea Ward into a city guard station.
Sure. Right.
Okay, so flitting over to our other friends. Rhys, what were you doing?
Hell if I know. I honestly don't remember.
Neither do I. So we're going to invent something right now.
I think all three of us were looking for that.
I don't know. I think he was hanging back at the bar.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I seem to remember that you were at Troll Skull Manor.
I remember that during our break-up before. But
For ease of play, we'll say that you are with Raven and Temperance.
I think I did go with it.
Yeah, let's make that canon. That's official now. Okay, so the three of you are out in the streets of Waterdeep. What are you doing at the moment?
we're looking for the one bar.
Looking for the spirits place? They got.
Are we looking for the spirits place or the brewery? Are we trying to talk to the driver?
We're trying. I don't know.
Because I thought that was what we was doing, is trying to talk to the driver.
We didn't know where the driver was either.
Yeah, we was going to the brewery to try to find out
Where?
where the driver would be.
Is that where you're headed?
Because I'm pretty sure we already talked to the person at the spirit shop.
I don't think we ever did. I don't think we ever did anything. Physical.
Well, all you have to do is just let me know what you want to do right now.
Where you going? What you doing?
Guess we'll go to the brewery.
Okay. Do you happen to remember what ward you were in at the time?
Well, we just left the Troll Skull Manor.
So you're in the castle ward still.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you make your way. You know that the owner whose shipment was burgled, right? Arthur Hind was the proprietor of Lamp Street Spirits, and so Lamp Street's relatively close to the Great Drunkard. You know that. You know that much to be sure. Let's see here. Let me get my bearings here. Okay, Trollskull Manor's in the North Ward, that's right. So if you want to go to the Spirits place, you're going to have to travel across the North Ward and go into the Castle Ward, which has the market and the Great Drunkard, you remember. You know that the brewery is a place in the North Ward off of Nindabar Street. So after a couple of minutes, you make your way through the streets down to that area. It's an offset building. It's not connected to any of the other sort of buildings in the area. It's sort of on its own in a sort of a street corner in a kind of a V formation. It sits there on that corner and takes up a good, basically like half a block. Essentially, it is a proper warehouse and brewing facilities and everything like that. You can smell the kind of the hops and the tank smell wafting out. And this looks like, based on your initial sort of investigation, this looks like the place that, at the very least, shipped the whiskey, if not made it themselves, and had a driver take it down to Lamp Street.
Okay. So, who wants to do the talking here?
It looks like there is, on the eastern side, there is clearly what is clearly an office entrance with a proper door. There's some signage there, a small kind of bell and lamp hanging over it. There's also an entrance on the western side, on the other side of the V.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
That is clearly like warehouse entrance, like into the actual brewing facility itself, which is a sort of a faded red double door that's clearly meant to be sort of slid out of the way to accommodate for carriages and large packages and things like that.
Well, I'm not the most charismatic person, but I've had some training in
I know how to speak.
The art of word.
persuasion.
Word, the one word.
Just the one.
Just the word.
It's a good
It's
word.
a bird.
Does anybody else feel more confident than me in talking to these people?
I don't know that I remember all the details. We're investigating like stolen
package of
booze or whatever.
There was a particularly fine whiskey that was meant to be shipped to Lamp Street Spirits, to Mr. Arthur Hind, that showed up at the Lamp Street Spirits, having been burgled.
Right.
Right?
So is this where it came from?
Yeah,
Yes.
Tetrian whiskey, that's right. Yeah. And so, based on your assumption that, at the very least, these were the shippers, like these were the handlers of the whiskey before it got onto a cart, which presumably came from this facility, and made its way to Lamp Street Spirits. Yeah. Now, you remember that the driver claimed ignorance, innocence, had no idea
Didn't
that
make
he
any
had the thing
stops.
loaded on it, didn't make any stops, just went straight there, and they showed up, opened the crate, and everything was gone.
So, I think we should talk to these people, see if they loaded the crates. Maybe talk to the people who did load the crates, and try to find out if they know where to find
The driver.
Siemens, which is the driver.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe the driver wouldn't realize he's driving empty crates as opposed to full ones.
Got some weight to him.
Let's go inside.
Okay, I guess I'm going in docking.
Are you going into the office or are you going into the warehouse area?
We're going into the office.
Okay. Yeah. So you enter the office. It's a pretty modest-looking place with some wood some wood flooring. You see that there is a kind of a common-looking man, a human man, white hair, brown eyes, clearly in sort of north of 50, right? Taking a kind of a casual stance behind a desk. He's sort of flipping through what looks like a ledger, kind of absent-mindedly. He sees a lot of you come in. The bell rings. Yes, what can I do for you?
Greetings. My name is Raven. I'm uncommissioned from the city guard. We're investigating 5 cases of Tetran whiskey that seemed to disappear. It was made here and en route, or somewhere between here and what was this? South Street Spirits?
Lamp Street Spirits.
Lamp Street Spirits.
Which is over in the castle.
And somewhere between here and Lamp Street Spirits, it disappeared.
I see. Do you have any identification or papers or anything from the city guard?
They wanted us to keep it.
Well,
A
you know how
closed case.
you know how the city guard is. This is something that they don't really feel they need to investigate.
So why did they send people to investigate then?
Because they're not opposed to hiring outside work.
Okay.
They want to make sure
For
everything
crimes
gets.
they're not really interested in.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad this isn't our problem.
I mean, you look like trustworthy people for the most part, but if I don't see some kind of paperwork or something like that, I can get my ass kicked right out of here, so.
I'll like take out a gold coin. Like, what we need is a location of the driver. If you have any information.
Persuasion, please.
Persuasion.
Now, before we get too deep into it, let's roll for fortune, huh?
Fortune! Dang it, I want that roll for persuasion.
No.
16.
16, 4.
Okay, there we go. There's my persuasion.
I'll leave you in a second.
9.
18.
18, okay.
Some good luck though.
Sid?
3.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, so could be better,
Could be,
but could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how, but it could be worse. All right, so you rolled your persuasion roll. What'd you get?
24.
Okay, this will be there's a very special limited Sacagawea edition dragon that's been passed over the counter. He kind of looks at that and then kind of looks at you. All right, very slowly slides it off the counter, pockets it. What do you want to know, officers? He says, very clearly kind of too loud.
what was the name of the driver?
Darwin Seamus, I believe. That's what I have written down.
Darwin Seamus?
Yeah.
Yep.
When note keeping comes back to the
That's his name now. Because I don't have.
It's been written.
I don't have a record of that for some reason. For the driver's. Anyway, that was Darwin. Darwin Seamus.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always been Darwin.
So, what do you asking? What do you want to know?
Caretaker.
Well,
You've always been at war with the Eurasian.
you did crate this up here and send it off for delivery. Yes?
He flips a couple of pages in the ledger, scans it. Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've got 5 crates of Tetran whiskey right here. Yep, checks out.
Maybe talk to the people who
Loaded the cart.
loaded the cart.
Well, we don't keep detailed records about that. Obviously, we get a lot of
import and export on a daily basis. But you're welcome to walk the floor of the warehouse and talk to some of the regulars. Maybe they can help you more.
Okay, perhaps you can help us locate Darwin Seamus, the driver.
Maybe he's scheduled for another shipment.
That'd be a surprise considering that he's dead.
Really?
Yeah. It's about it was 2 days ago. Yeah, he apparently had a bit of an accident at home. Fell down a flight of stairs. And got the old neck bits all out of whack. It's tragic.
Yes, yes. Suddenly, I think it'd be less useful to find the people who loaded this, because I think they're above board now.
Yeah, I had no reason to suspect the workers here, but maybe we should look into his house.
Yes, you wouldn't happen to know where he lives.
Well, we should at least try to make sure that they loaded full,
Well,
which they probably did. I guess
we can talk to some of the people.
Yeah. You officers sure you need that information?
Well, yeah.
Okay, you're twisting my arm. Let's see, Darwin. He's flipping his way through the. It looks like he's making his way to the back of the ledger, which contains a series of sort of common shipping addresses and some employee information. Let's see.
It's not like he was here.
Yeah, he was in a small apartment on Shando Street. It's not too far from here, actually. You go down Golden Serpent and take a right. You'll make your way to the little complex. Yeah, it was I think he said second floor. I don't know any more details than that, per se. Could be the first one on the left or the right, I don't know.
What kind of a man was he?
It was dull. It seemed to be responsible, but
Could he be bought?
just Waterdeep. Anybody can be bought. I mean, I wouldn't pick him as the first person to take a bribe, but things need to happen in this city. Palms need to be greased, and not that I know anything about that.
Yeah, of course.
So I wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibility.
Was he in any kind of trouble that you know?
No, not that I ever heard. I interact with the people on the floor a handful of times during the day, but I don't work alongside them very often. I'm usually in here working with upper management or something.
Understandable.
If you need some information, like some personal stuff about Darwin, I would ask the folks on the floor. They'd know better than I would.
Well,
As far as I know, he just showed up for work and did his job.
of course, yes. Well, thank you for your help, and if you don't mind, I'll speak to some of the floor workers.
You're very welcome, officers.
Thank you.
He sort of gestures, and you can see that there is a sort of a back series of double doors that leads into the adjoining warehouse area.
Okay. I look at you and say, you're very good at talking to people, so I'm going to have you do this.
Are you sure you're not going to point at his purse instead? These are very good at talking.
Well, very good. Who
They
said
have
these? Dang it.
very strong arguments.
Who sent you?
Okay, so you make your way inside the warehouse. The place is chock-a-block with large crates, some of which have been already sort of pried open with a crowbar. They're filled with this kind of like mossy sort of packing material. You get
24 max.
You get some clear. It's almost a disorienting kind of smell of various sort of whiskeys and spirits and so on. Various like spices and food products. It's this sort of heady mix. You wonder how the workers actually manage to work in here for long periods of time without getting like The headaches are sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
The place is clearly it's the middle of the day, so the place is pretty busy. Our workers going to and fro, moving crates on, getting what looks like a series of 3 carriages loaded up already, ready to head out into the various parts of the city. The place looks bustling, but there are a couple of workers dotting a stack of crates here, a small sort of side table there, that seem to be sort of, for lack of a better word, they're having a smoke break, basically. They're not actively smoking in here, but they seem to be having a brief chat.
Water cooler on
If there were such a thing.
it. Yeah.
Let's talk to them.
Did you guys see the game last night?
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
The problem with Arsenal is they only started walking. Yeah. So you're gonna go to check on the folks by the sort of series of crates. You're gonna go to the side table. What do you want to do? Is anybody you want to get catch a specific eye, or are you just kind of getting a general vibe of awareness?
I guess people not working with probably better.
Yeah, we probably ought to stick to people who's not actively working.
It gives them more of an excuse to not work.
Yes.
I'm gonna start looking around at crates, just seeing what's
Okay, give me
not any real obvious, but just I'm not gonna lift the lids.
Oh,
or
sure,
anything.
yeah, you're just taking a look at it, but give me a
Yeah.
general perception check then. So,
22.
22, very good. Okay, so the two of you make your way over to the 3 workers who are sort of in a kind of a semicircle formation around near a stack of crates. It's a human, a dwarf, and then what looks like he's clearly got like a heavy cloak on, but I think that's a lizard folk, I believe. It's clear that he's trying to keep kind of a low profile, and he's just trying to do his job, but he doesn't want to be like terribly flashy. Like you can see underneath the heavy coat, the sort of the glimmer of scales and sort of natural patterns and things like that.
I learned recently they're like 7 feet tall. Like about that.
Yeah, they're pretty.
So,
they're
by the way,
pretty
just
tall.
think that I had to switch my headcanon when the character I was playing with was like, oh, by the way, I'm like 7. I went,
Yeah,
so.
They can be burly because
you got a 22, isn't that right? So, Rhys, as you're looking through the warehouse, as people are busying around, as you take a look at some of the crates, you actually spy off to the side in a relatively untrafficked part of the warehouse. You're at a bit of a distance, so it's a bit of a squint, but you can read that case 20 units Tetrian whiskey has been sort of stenciled on a floor-sitting crate off to the side.
Okay. Is it sealed shut or?
From this distance, it appears so, yes. The two of you approach the group. Dwarf kind of looks you over. Can I help you?
Yeah, so we were just inquiring about one of the delivery drivers who's recently had a bad accident.
You see, they start to snicker a little bit. They kind of look at each other, and then the dwarf looks back at you like, "Take a number, pick one."
This particular one is named Darwin Seamus.
Darwin. Okay. Well, who the fuck are you?
We're independent contractors for the City Watch.
He kind of gives you a look, and yeah, okay. I've done some independent contract work myself. What's your business with Darwin? I mean, what do you want with it?
Well, it seems that 5 crates of Tetrian whiskey that he was delivering the other day went missing.
Huh. Okay.
We were just wondering if he found himself in any trouble, any debts he had to pay, or did he seem
Darwin?
nervous? Yes.
No. Fucker was straight as an arrow. He came in here, he's talking about every day that he was going to be a big asset to the company, and that he was going to climb the ladder, and blah, blah, blah. he was going to make his way up to the top just by doing exceptional work down here on the floor. You know, like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Did he have any rivals in the trade?
Like another driver who was...
Someone who would also want to take the same spot, but he's beating him out.
If this was an anime.
You ever worked in a warehouse, son? Like,
Nope.
everybody kind of hates everybody else. We would all rather take a pay rise than have. And he points at the human. It's like Jeff here, this fucker. Like, if he lost his job tomorrow, I'd gladly take his salary, his position, and his fucking wife. Isn't that right, Jeff? And Jeff's just like. So, if you're talking about rivals, we're all rivals. You know. I mean, I'm not gonna piss in anybody else's soup if they don't ask for it, but you know. You guys know that Darwin's, like, he's dead, right?
Yes.
You're
Okay, good.
overseer.
This would have been a weird conversation otherwise.
Yeah, the office staff informed us of that.
Oh, yeah, fucking, Braille, yeah.
Was he acting nervous or anything these last few days?
No, not that I noticed. I mean, you know, I'm not sitting down and having long tea time chats with fucking Darwin, okay? But, I don't know. He seemed to be in decent spirits. He didn't seem to be worried or anxious or anything like that. You know, we were just doing our jobs, you know? We load a lot of crates during the day. I mean, a lot of crates. I don't even know. They could put a body in one of these, and we wouldn't know, you know? Probably, yeah. So, can I help you folks any further, or can I go back to my break?
No, you're fine. And I take out like 5 silver and say, have a drink on me later.
All right, boys, it's not so bad, huh? Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. What's everyone's... Oh, no, actually, I know your passive perceptions.
A couple of days of work right there.
I'm gonna walk up to that crate of whiskey and be very obvious about my interest in it. And
Okay.
see if it opens. And...
It's clearly already been opened, but the lid has been sort of placed back on top of it, right? So you lift that open. You see several cases of Tetrian whiskey all lined up and neat and orderly. They've already been sort of wrapped and they're still sealed and everything. There is, however, one bottle missing. So you're seeing an array of like, okay, it's 5, 10, 15, 14. Okay.
Did it say 20 or 21?
Is it 20 cases?
20 cases.
Cases, 20 units.
20.
Yeah. This is a pretty sizable... I mean, this is bigger than you. Like, it's a huge... You have to get, like, 4 people to, you know, arrange to load that on the back of a cart, a carriage. Yeah, so at least on the topmost part, you're looking at this crate, and you're like, oh, there's clearly supposed to be another one here. It's very obvious that this one is missing, you know. And this doesn't look like an instance where, like, oh, I just forgot to put one in. Because it's deadly obvious on the top. It's like putting eggs in a carton, right? If there's one missing, it's very obvious. Speaking of which, Raven, with your passive perception of 14, you notice that as you are leaving the group of 3 who are enjoying their break in the warehouse, you see that the lizard folk man is looking a little bit withdrawn. For some reason, you see that it looks like some part of the conversation rubbed him the wrong way or something. And he's sort of... You can see he is more withdrawn than he was previously.
Okay. So I kind of discreetly tap you. Something about that conversation didn't go well with the lizard folk.
I wonder if he's good.
What do you think we should do? It'd look somewhat odd if we went over and questioned him in front of everybody.
Maybe find him after work.
That's always an option.
Jump him in the alley.
Beat him in the parking lot.
Yeah, beat his ass.
This isn't a racial target.
I swear. Please believe me.
We had the best of them too. You done did it now.
No, it was just profiling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. He looked mighty shifty.
Of course he did. He's
He looked
a
just-
shifter.
He just looked.
What did you want, man?
He just looked,
What else?
he just looked really cold-blooded. So that's when the lizard person's like, "Can you stop with all the puns, please? Can I go home?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. You're literally only like 3 feet away."
I do have ears. I don't just like
Well,
hear
holes.
through my tongue.
Holes,
Like-
not so much ears.
Yeah.
My God, they can hear me. I have a name. What do you want?
Okay, so armed with your newfound information, what will you do? Tom, do you inform Rhys? Do you inform your party members of the?
Well, I'm like, I'll reach into the cave. I'm waiting for someone to stop me.
Oh, yeah. So you reach in, you grab one of sort of like
Someone
the-
stop me!
the wooden cases. You lift it up. Okay, we're still. These cases look full. You lift it up. These cases. So it seems like as you're sort of peering into the crates that for the most part these, from what you can see, these crates of Tetrian whiskey are like. They're good all the way down, with the exception of this one that's missing on the top. You see that you sort of turn around and look at the business. No one has even
No one
given you a
cares.
second eye. Yeah, it looks like there's just so much activity going on right now, especially in this middle of the day, sort of afternoon kind of rush. That
Perfect time for a
it looks like you could take one yourself, and like no one would be any the wiser.
Okay.
Bavarian fire drill works every time. A magic clipboard.
I mean, I am a thief.
Magic clip
Stamp
was
it.
good.
Yeah.
Just a name tag and a clipboard. That's all you need.
And confidence.
And
You need that confidence.
All right, let's
not
meet
called
up with
confidence man for
our
nothing.
other person and discuss a plan. And we look around and find him nosing around in the crate.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
that just puts one away.
Nice vintage.
The maker's mark.
What'd you find?
Crate with some missing whiskey.
Could be why.
Mm,
Is it So is it missing a case or is it missing a bottle?
A bottle.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looks like one of the bottles of that case has been.
Okay.
I know a little bit about the underworld, and that's usually called a tax.
worker's tax.
I know a thing or two
It's
about
a
people.
labor search.
This is the raise I was promised. If anything, it could just be that taken from his employees. And
But the shipment that was missing, it wasn't like part of the shipment. It was the entire shipment that was missing, right? The 5.
All 5.
Yeah.
All 5 crates of vintage Tethrian whiskey
Were empty.
are gone. Yes.
Yeah.
Vintage on top.
gone, the crates gone, or the
The crates were empty.
Well, yes, the crates
containers
were
there.
empty. Yeah, yeah. They didn't take the crates; they took the contents of the crates. Right.
Which says magic.
Yeah, or they could have just took everything out of the crates, like could have, but
if he did stop somewhere. But
Were the bottles missing or the bottles were there? The bottles were empty.
The bottles were missing.
Okay.
It's basically like open the crate. There should be things in here. This is an
There's
empty
nothing.
crate.
Okay.
there's just that dust stuff they use for packaging.
Well, I think we should go look at the dead driver's apartment.
Sawdust.
yes, and I
Or
I
like
tell you
that,
about the
like
lizard
hay
folk
leaf.
and
Like
Our
street
idea.
stuff.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk to him first.
You always find for like
Our idea of,
artifacts and stuff.
getting
I
to
don't know
know
what
him
that is.
after the ship
Twine or
over.
something.
I forgot that existed.
Unfurled twine.
He'll be less responsive when the sun goes down. It'll get cold.
Just goes home to a heat lamp.
Yeah.
It's very cozy.
Lies on a rock.
Like a lizard. Yes.
It's the magical item, just like heat rock.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so where's your next journey? Where are you going?
Do you think we could make it to the drawers? the driver's house, do a proper search, and get back here in time for them to get off.
Now the driver's house is on Shando Street, which all you got to do is go down
It's
Golden
nearby.
Serpent. It's relatively nearby. You could get there in what you estimate would be probably on foot 10 minutes.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, okay, so we probably do that, and come back and stake out the place.
Okay, so you head down to Shando Street. You see on the corner of Aveen and Shando, there is what looks like a three-story building that clearly has, quite a few sort of shuttered windows on both sides. It looks like it's sort of what you might call a kind of a tenement block. It's clearly seen better days. It looks like you've seen paint flaking. Some of the shingles on sort of the awnings have fallen off. It's clearly a place. It's kind of a cut rate budget looking place. You make your way inside the facility and into the quote unquote lobby, and you see a staircase. Sort of a rough industrial-looking staircase towards the back of the room, winding, sort of squaring up into the second and third floors, and you see what looks like a small sort of wooden booth that's been sort of attached to the western wall, with a little bit of glass on the front, and what looks like a sort of a swinging kind of like
Half door.
yeah, like a half door for somebody to go in, but the place is empty.
Okay.
The lobby, I mean, anyway. This
The
first
lobby's
floor.
empty,
Because
so
they
we
made it
can't-
seem like this was like portioned out. Like
Yeah,
apartment
so we can't ask anybody what his apartment number is.
style. I wonder if they have names, mailbox or something.
We can check and see.
Look for like, is there like mailbox or anything like that?
Yeah. There's some scattered furniture here in the lobby, but the mustiness of it, and there's a chair leg that looks a little too wobbly. Like that, and the booth and the staircase are the only thing in this sort of relatively squat kind of lobby.
He said he was on the second or third floor, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what. Yes, that's what Braille indicated. Second or third floor. Now, judging from the layout of this place, it looks like that nobody's on the first floor because this is literally just the lobby. So Braille's comment was not as helpful as you'd like.
Well, let's go see how many apartments there are.
Is there
I
anything
suppose.
in the booth?
You want to go check it out?
Yeah.
You make your way over and look through the glass. There are what looks like a sort of a large journal on the sort of the desk that's been inserted inside. There is what looks like an inkwell and a feather pen, a half-eaten portion of what is it, venison meat or something like that, and a chunk of bread. The desk is covered in various sort of stains and everything like
I'm
that.
just gonna quickly look through that journal, go into the booth.
Okay, you want to go into the other side? Yeah. Okay. You make your way inside and take a look at the journal. What are you looking for?
See if there's any like payments, like like rooms. I'm gonna mostly it's information of where is this guy living, that kind of information.
Okay. Yeah. So no problem. You just sit there with the book. Take a few time. You look through. You've got tenant information. You've got rent payments and everything like that. And sure enough, you see a Seamus, Darwin, who you see that repeated a couple of times in terms of rent payments. And there's a notation that he is in 311.
No longer have to search the second floor.
I'll turn it back to the page it was, and then
Did you see if he's current on his rent payments?
he seemed pretty current. There was payments, pretty consistent.
Yeah, from the journal entries that you looked at, he paid in a timely fashion every 10 day.
Room 311.
All right, let's go.
Make our way upstairs.
Okay. Did Nick die?
I think so.
You see dead?
I think he put this in his will.
for you, as a beneficiary.
I'm just gonna take that. They're very nice.
Okay, so the two of you, you're here as well. I
Yep.
assume.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So the three of you make your way up the stairs, second floor, third floor, and you see flanked left and right a series of sort of shoddy-looking doors with what look like hand carved digits into each of the doors. You see that the flooring in this area is kind of like it feels ramshackle and vaguely like sticky. The place has got kind of like a low light vibe to it. It's clear that the lobby and the other floors, from what you've seen, are in the same state as sort of the exterior of the building. So you make your way down the hole onto the right-hand side, and sure enough, 311 is staring right at you. The door is currently closed.
I try it.
No, we can take care of that.
It appears to be locked.
All
Not
right,
for
you're
long.
up.
Also trapped.
Acid! Suddenly.
Good.
25. Natural
Very
20 on the die.
And then there's the gun attached to the door.
Like a shotgun. Yeah.
Natural 20. It's
Sopranos
like you
shit.
slowly open it and see the gun.
You have a chance to think about your life and your choices before you do. So, with that score, Rhys, so you go to insert your rake and file into the lock of this door. You insert the rake, and the door begins to swing open. Okay.
Better thief than I thought I was.
I am so good at my job.
It's like a butter lock. Just
So the door creaks open, and inside you see a relatively, a pretty cramped-looking apartment. There is a very small, sort of like single bed. There is a table along which has been placed. There's sort of the remains of chopped vegetables. There appears to be sort of a pot, so kind of like a sort of mini cauldron, if you will. There is a small, what looks like a stone outlined kind of fire pit in the corner. When there's sort of this big shuttered window, one of the shutters is open already, and leaving out, getting the smell of the north ward and the air coming through. There is a small dresser type piece of furniture. Almost not quite an armoire, but sort of a series of double flanked drawers. The place looks relatively neat. I mean, it's clearly a poor quality room and poor quality furniture, but like it's been kept well.
Let's start searching it.
I think maybe he was cooking dinner when his accident happened.
it seems like that.
Odd that he would go out in the middle of that.
You forgot onions.
Well, yeah. Well, it was said that he fell down some stairs.
Yeah.
At least that's what Braille said. And this cramped apartment is one room with no stair access. So either it happened
On the stairs.
on the stairs to this floor or somewhere else. Maybe. Or Braille was fucking lying. It was like out of his gourd. Who knows?
Yeah.
So are you taking a look inside?
Oh,
The
yeah,
door's
we're gonna
freely
toss the
swung
place.
open. Oh, okay, yeah.
We'll go in and close it, but yeah, we'll search the place.
Okay, so you go inside, you close the door. It's a little cramped. The three of you have got maybe, we're talking like 20 square feet.
Nice.
It's like not a terribly
So
big
Because that'd be
apartment.
like 4x4
That's hyper small.
is 16.
Then 40 by 40, right? 30 square feet?
30 square feet would be like a 6x5.
A square.
You're working
quarter.
with a
that'd be
shitty
fine.
New York tenement apartment style
6x5
size.
Okay,
is
like-
kind of almost.
maybe 200 square feet.
There's no kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
it'd
no
probably
bathroom.
be like 120.
It's
or
literally
something.
one room and everything is in the
120
room.
is pretty small,
Right.
but it's actually you can fit something.
You could fit a bed in there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hurt your immersion with my incomplete measurements.
Real estate
Yeah.
experience. That's too small.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting. Okay, well, so you take a look inside the place. Are you really tossing it, or are you just
I think we're just
I'd say
like
taking a
carefully.
moderate look? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just being
Carefully but
things,
thoroughly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're being careful.
We're not like trashing the place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can go carefully and be done in like 5 minutes, anyways. So.
You make your way through the dresser drawers. They're all empty. You make your way over to the table. You see again sort of the remains of what looks like sort of small chunks of meat that have been prepared and which have gone a little bad.
Take those to the lizard man.
Some chopped vegetables and things like that. There's a smell coming from the sort of mini cauldron that smells like leeks or something like that. It's kind of a soupish sort of smell.
Didn't forget the onions.
You make your way over to the bed. It's in a state of it's been made and then sort of turned over, but it doesn't look like it's been slept in recently. Yeah, the place looks unusually empty for an apartment that was fairly recently lived in by someone. And from what from all the information you heard was for a substantial amount of time. Like this is where he lived. He was just staying here. Yeah.
They were probably right. Whatever this was, this accident, it wasn't because they wanted him for his money or they were looking for something. It was
Or they were looking to shut him up.
yeah, it
Money
was-
for his body.
yeah.
Sweet neck juices.
They were just finding an opportunity. Yes.
I just like to imagine there's a literal person playing bagpipes outside.
I was like, stupid neighbors, you get the broom.
There's an angry halfling downstairs, very upset with the clomping that's going on.
I thought my neighbor was dead. Why are they still?
So I can see why he's not living here anymore. Yeah, you heard me?
Thought I threw that fucker down the stairs.
A serial stair thrower lurks the halls.
He just wants the place quiet.
All you hear is the beginning strains of Danny Boy coming from the pipes.
Oh, damn.
Well,
Anyway,
we can either go back and stake out the warehouse, the brewery, or we can try to question some of the neighbors.
See if
Yeah.
somebody saw
One in
something.
particular.
I do want to cut open the mattress though, see if anything's inside there.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Knife in. A lot of straw, you know. Some
Bugs.
yeah, there's an occasional insect here and there, but otherwise no.
Just ruined the
It's just
He's
the
not
man's
using
dead
it.
anyways, yeah.
I look at you, and I just kind of technically what we just did was illegal. So leaving evidence that we did it.
Nobody even knows we're here.
And about that time, you hear what sounds like a key being inserted into the door lock and being turned.
Everybody hide.
Why did you do that to the mattress?
There's literally nowhere to hide.
Yeah, there's no.
They'll roll.
Shifting back, you guys are some fucking like DC 30 stealth rolls.
I hide behind the curtain.
Yeah.
If only I was a halfling, then I could hide behind someone.
If only I was a halfling
cauldron
with
on your
a bagpipe.
Shifting back
Under the
to there's a city guard sort of halfway station in the
We'll charm
seaward.
person them, right?
Yeah, we don't have those people. And it's
Oh, now you want it.
No. So, I'm a bard. I have some stuff.
So you guys, so you've been escorted,
you can
Sid,
viciously lock them.
you and Nora's stabilized but unconscious body, back to Zarimtar Station, which is surely on Zarimtar Street. It's sort of a, you think of it as like a small precinct building, right? Not city guard proper, but a place where they can have a kind of an HQ to operate from in the seaward, should that be necessary.
Policeman's booth.
You've been moved, Sid, to the basement where there is a series of sort of iron wrought
cells. You've been placed in one temporarily before they can arrange your sort of formal interrogation. You saw as you were being loaded in and taken down the stairs to the basement that Nora's body was being escorted to what looks like probably the second floor, and you saw what looked like a sort of a half-elven man in a smock that was dingy in a way that kind of looks vaguely bloody. Not fresh blood, but clearly well-dried blood. Was taking a look at Nora as she was being led up and accompanying the guards up to the second floor.
Let's give
They brought the mortician.
I'm just like,
A few minutes pass, something like 10 or 15, before the same city guard officer that was questioning you at the site comes down, he comes down carrying a wooden chair, drags it across the floor, sits it in front of the cell, and then takes a seat, and then leans forward in a kind of a preparatory way, not conspiratorial, and says, "So, let's go over what the facts are. We found you and your companion here on Shark Street shortly after what we can now establish was a gunshot was heard. Our people searched your person, found no such firearm. Neither did we find a firearm on your companion's body. What were you doing in Shark Street exactly, Mr. Primanti, was he?
yes. I'm trying to think of
Cover story.
No. I mean, no. I don't think it really applies. I think we are like legit. Yeah.
Well, you were seeing the criminal contact.
Well, we were seeing Jamart, the pillar of the community.
Well, beyond that, like what we've been sent to do is legit, right? We are actively
Trying to find the people who smuggle whiskey and other alcohols.
Yeah, but what was that?
It's not really on the books. It's more of a.
Who gave us that? Why were we?
It was my guard contact.
Your guard contact?
Bela
Yeah.
Shansi.
Belia Shansi. Yep. The half-elven city watch contact.
Yeah.
So is this a job that we were?
Yeah,
it's a job.
A paying job. Okay.
One of Raven's paying gigs. Yes.
Yes. And though it's more off the books thing that they don't want to spend time on, so they're not opposed to a little outside help. But
Sure.
And by they, we mean the guards on the street,
yeah,
as opposed to the guards as a whole.
Guard control. Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
So the whiskey's probably not the way to go.
She says in a voice in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Telepathic.
That refresher.
Well, yeah, but like, I'm thinking I had a lot of time sitting alone to think about this.
You've had like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm going in my head as I just recount the last session or what have you. So, but beyond that though, like it's still like we're just taking a job, right?
I mean, murder is just taking a job, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we're just investigating though.
You're not wrong in that regard.
Choose
your words carefully.
Sure, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm honestly just trying to figure out what is wrong with what we're doing. Like,
It's
like-
more so the who than the what, but even the what is a little iffy because it's like if the police pulled you over and you were doing some vigilante work.
I'm just a journalist, guys.
You kind of have to work around the fact of what you're doing, even if in the end you're doing it for the right reasons. Because they're like, what do you mean you're doing a job?
Right.
That's our job.
In that case, they could okay, you're trespassing.
Mhm.
All right, you're
Oh,
disturbing
sure.
the peace. Like, there's a whole list of charges they could throw at you.
Leaving bodies in the street, you're littering.
Yeah.
That's true.
Little litter, man.
Yeah.
Right.
And littering
Okay.
is a fine up to 2 gold pieces and an edict.
Mm.
Wow.
So let that be a lesson to you.
Now, don't one of you wish you would have played a gunslinger? Because that would have made this so much more interesting.
Oh, this gun?
You mean these? And this?
What is a gun? I don't know what that is.
Oh man, sure. I'm glad ballistics don't.
Okay,
exist yet.
so we were, however, still left with an open task by the captain of the guard, right, to deal with this Xantarum and
Yeah, but I
and
did.
Xanathar gang.
I did tell. What was that? Never Ember. I did tell him that we did complete that.
Oh, we did. Oh,
So
Never Ember isn't a, guard
not a
captain.
guard,
He's
but-
influential.
but
right, but maybe he
it's
doesn't.
not impossible that he told the guard that.
But it's also not impossible that they did it.
Well, no. Remember, like beyond saving Neverember, like we were tasked with like dealing with.
No, we were only tasked with finding Flume.
Was it? I thought it was something a little bit more open ended than that.
I don't think so. I
I
think there was
don't-
mention
Yeah.
that like there's been this larger gang war going on, and it's like taking care of Never Ember would help us out in that regard.
Captain Staggett might have he mentioned, obviously, he mentioned in the course of your investigation of Neverember's whereabouts, you became aware of clearly the extent and the direness of this Xantarum Xanathar kind of conflict. There was never an official, to my memory,
Right.
an official sort of job that the captain says, "Hey, you can do this work for us now." But Captain Staggett, given your effectiveness in the Neverember case, seemed to kind of give you a wide berth. He was initially very suspicious, very sort of hard-nosed about your activities in the city, but now, given that you've done a great favor to Renaer Neverember himself, he's willing to sort of give you a wider berth. So you have a little bit more leeway to pursue the problems of the city in a way that the city guard will maybe give you a couple of inches.
So as I sit there during my time, just like contemplating, like, all right, maybe not linking this to our current employer. However, maybe we could put a little bit more stress on this Xantarum
Angle.
Yeah, Xantarum and Xanathar Guild angles. So that being said, I can roleplay it out. However, is it in an effort to not backtrack through all of that? Is it cool if I just can I select that as my
Sure. Yeah.
dialogue option? As my dialogue option.
Now,
And then going forward.
Now, are you doing it in an earnest way or a sarcastic way?
Oh no.
Are you
Earnest.
doing
This
the
is
low intelligence choice?
no. That's fair.
Which option tree
Al-
have you opened
Al-Cid
up
is playing
from
the
previous conversations?
Seduce.
straight up.
I'm
Hammer
the
that
bard.
button.
I'm the bard here, guys.
The straight as an arrow, like
You're just.
I'm
telling the facts,
pleading with him in my
So
I
please.
swear, officer.
like
not
just
hiding.
being like, hey, we were doing this in an effort to,
They're gonna press X.
we're doing this.
So you're
in
trying
an
to be
effort help.
you're trying to be forthright and just trying to present your case.
Yes.
But you're not like, oh please, Mr. Guardman,
Yes.
please let me know.
Right.
Okay. So you're not quite pleading.
Yeah.
You're pleading your case,
That's
but
what-
you're not.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm too pretty to go to prison.
So after you give your spiel out to the city guard officer, he takes a moment. He sort of leans back in his chair slightly. That's a lot to take in.
Absolutely.
A lot of which apparently doesn't have any sort of physical evidence to back that up. Naturally, we'll have to check with the appropriate parties. Make sure that you're on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, however, my initial read on this particular issue is that you are probably not responsible for your companion's injury, and I expect you will be released fairly soon.
In the meantime, your companion is in good hands.
Thank
As our team surgeon is upstairs, and she is able to take a good look at the body and make sure that she'll turn out all right.
That's upstairs.
Thank you.
Chainsaw running.
You got an injury to your neck. We're gonna have to cut it off.
Just it's the only way to save it.
Officer, is this a? I don't know if there's any better. Is this just a?
You can't tell the sort
The
of
rank.
rank.
Okay, yeah. Has there been anything similarly happening around the dock area? That seems quite the weapon to use.
He gives a kind of a look sort of off to the side, contemplating. What's your passive insight?
12.
12. You can clearly see that this officer is obviously wrestling with the notion of telling you more information.
Right. I'm going to press it a smidge, but not like bust through the door, and be like,
Okay.
in the effort, assuming that my story clears, it could be of considerable help to my investigation.
Give me persuasion.
17.
And takes a look at you. Fair enough. We've had similar issues lately in around Sea Ward. That's why I suspect that you're merely bystanders or victims in this crime rather than perpetrators. There have been a series of these attacks, what seem like ordinary folk in the area, and our current understanding of the case is that they're being perpetrated by the Dragon Death.
Is that something I can make a roll on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would that be history?
That would be a history, yeah. Or you could just do a base intelligence check.
I thought we beat a boss earlier with that.
12.
Sure. Let they saw.
All right. So what'd you get?
12.
12. It's a drow thing.
Sure.
That's as much as you know.
Gotcha.
Like it's like a group of drow to do something. I don't.
Right, sure.
That's about as much as you're able to recall.
Racial profile.
The drow thing. I regurgitate.
He kind of gives you a look. Yeah?
Know too much more about it besides
The mercenaries.
Ah.
Apparently, they are... How much do you know about drow culture?
Can I roll an insight check to see if his inflection indicates whether he thinks of them positively or negatively?
Yeah, absolutely, if you want to do that. Yeah, it's a great use.
Crit. 22.
He is talking about... It's clear that he doesn't have... With that role, you're reading from his voice that it doesn't seem like he is unusually biased against drow.
I mean, that helps me.
In any way. He's speaking a little negatively about the Dragon Death, obviously because he's had to deal with these sort of random crimes.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to be at least clearly not a bigot in any way towards the Dragon.
Sure. Okay. Pressing that information, I will be like, kind of not too much about kind of a mysterious group, or I guess I'm playing too much to my knowledge. I assume drow are not common, for the exception of Rhys is the only person we know. It's a drow knight. Beyond that,
They show up, but they're
here.
not.
They're not. Yeah, they're not common.
Yeah.
Jurist.
It's like,
So,
a,
yeah,
it's like a black person in Maine.
Yes,
They
exactly.
exist. They exist, but
Maybe.
how often do you see them?
They're not Stephen King books, so.
Yeah, that's like one.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, don't know too much about them. They kind of keep themselves, the mysterious bunch. Mercenaries are scum, but.
We are mercenaries.
Excuse the word, adventurers.
He's not lying.
But beyond that, nothing.
I think of myself as scum. Thus, it's an honest statement.
The Drow, you know, they're a matriarchal society, right? They're led by the female variety, right? They're the leaders of the great houses. It's been so long since my schooling days. When those houses fall apart, the menfolk, who were already considered sort of among the lowest of the low, they are sort of free agents, right? They're without their masters, they're hated, derided, they're considered dishonourable, they're just floating out in a sort of drow culture.
Soaking
Oftentimes-
all of this in. Just like, let it rain over me.
They show up here on the surface.
You realize I would know all of this anyway.
So they actually
Well,
have
not
Drow History Month in school.
I mean, you'd have to, right?
They show up on the surface and they get involved in various activities, some of which are clearly criminal.
Do you have one?
Now this Brigand Death
I
group
don't.
apparently it's a company of mercenaries made up entirely of Drow, male Drow. That's my understanding anyway. We have only a little bit of information about them. They're at work in the city, but they keep themselves sewed up pretty tight.
Wow.
We don't know anything about their command structure, don't know anything about what sort of agenda they're pursuing. All we know is that we've heard the name, we've connected it to sightings of Drow, some of which have been seen on the rooftops of Seaward. And, well, it's an ongoing investigation. But if I had to guess, one of their agents is probably responsible for your friend's issue.
They're rotten shame.
Any reason why a member of the Dragon Death would be targeting you?
No,
You
Not
are
that I
your
know.
friend.
that I don't know why either of us have angered any drow. I don't even know any drow. Never mind, my bad.
Drow are some of my best friends.
I have a drow friend.
I just, beyond that, I'm like, yeah, nothing.
We're co-workers.
He's our friend.
Yeah. So, like,
All you have to
haven't-
relay back is you don't know any drow. You
we
do know
haven't
any
made,
drow.
we haven't made any mercenaries
Well,
anymore.
he's half Drow.
After.
On his mother's side.
All right.
Hopefully it's
Well, yeah, you won't. You'll forgive me for
Well, I
trying.
mean, it's still more
Oh, no
powerful
problem.
side.
This city is going to shit. First, Zentarum fighting with the Xanatars, and then Spray and Death folks operating for God knows what in the city. It's a hell of a lot to keep up with. In addition, already all of the other people who already fucking live here and are doing their own business.
I don't
Criminal
even know about
otherwise.
the vampires.
It seems like the criminal element is butting heads.
Yeah, it would seem like it. You see him, he gets up from his chair and picks up the sort of back end. Well, as I said, we'll have to check in with the parties in your story, make sure it all checks out before we can release you. But as far as I'm concerned, you're innocent. So you'll have to sit here for another couple of hours until we get a word back.
Not a problem.
I tell you what, I'll send one of the boys down to give you an update on your friend's condition.
Thank you very much.
Well, enjoy your stay. He makes his way back up to upstairs, and you are now left alone in the basement cells.
Laying on the ground, just like blowing a feather up in the air.
Just like, all right.
Nora, you are roused to consciousness by
Not aroused.
you are aroused to consciousness.
It's a hell of a way to wake up.
Surprise, motherfuckers! We're playing the Book of Erotic Fantasy now.
Oh no.
Just going to be.
We can't leave. The door's locked.
The handle's missing.
It's been replaced with a dildo.
It's 50 Shades of Waterdeep.
It's all just off, like blues.
It's two shades. It's black and blue. Anyway, so you're roused to consciousness by a foul smell. You wake up. Oh, you see that there is a half-elven man in a dingy-looking smock, leaning over you, holding what looks like a small vial filled with some kind of mineral or powder or something like that, up to your nose. He sees you react, awake.
To like bat this out of my face.
All right, just you with us in the land of the living?
Yeah. Are all my insides inside?
Sure. I mean, I haven't gone in there yet, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, that's good. Wait, what do you mean yet?
It's normal protocol stuff. We got to check out, make sure you're not carrying any, contiguous diseases or anything like that.
Just like
I'm sorry, contagious. You know what I meant.
Diseases linked one after the other.
Yeah, Fairfax, will you go down and let the boys know that our friend here is awake? Yeah.
so
So
I
how
just
do you,
get like a quick glance around of my surroundings.
you see that it looks like you're in the corner of what's clearly sort of a this second floor area. It's got a lot of sort of individual desks and small wooden chairs. Lots of paperwork scattered about. There is a sort of a map of Waterdeep that's been pegged to the wall, on which have been several scribblings and various notes being taken. And off to the side, you're on what looks like a long wooden table next to about a chest high sort of cabinet, along which are arrayed a series of grisly-looking surgical tools and various vials and bottles and so on.
Now we get to see if your stories match up.
Are any of those freshly slicked with blood?
See if it's quiet enough out there to open that now.
It would be an easier. I would.
The door's locked.
We'll see how they go.
The question you need to be asking is which of them isn't freshly slicked with blood.
Which ones aren't they? Which ones haven't been used recently?
None of them.
Oh, good. So it doesn't. Does anything about this room scream like it's a specialty room of some sort, or does this?
No,
just
it looks like this
closet.
surgeon has kind of claimed a corner of the full room, right, the full floor, as his sort of corner to work in. Right. It's clear that the precinct is the building itself, and probably the budget is relatively small, so people are sort of being forced to work in these open air kind of confines, right?
Okay. Well, I appreciate whatever you did, but I think I can handle things from here.
All right, that's it's up to you, Chief. Okay. You're gonna want to take it easy on the legs there. The agent that was introduced into your system from the little bullet hole.
That check.
You see that it's been gauzed and sort of bandaged. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't press down too hard on that. You're gonna get a lot of blood. We had to remove a lot of that. So you need to take it easy on the legs there because it affects the body. You know, it fries the nerves in a way. You might find you're gonna have a little bit of difficulty being dexterous, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Can I like sit up, try to do the swing the legs over the side?
Okay. Your legs feel sort of like
Jelly.
like
Jelly.
gummy worms, essentially attached to your torso. This sort of like wobbly.
Remember in the Harry Potter film where Lovejoy just makes Harry Potter's arm like a...
Hey, sure,
The bones out.
yeah, it's like you have boneless legs.
Oh, my bonitis.
Yeah. Well, that's the bones get like crunched. And
That's true.
It's the exact opposite.
They bend in.
If you have no bones, do you
The
have osteoporosis?
the half elven surgeon is like, oh, hey, all right, still good, okay. You can see, and he actually takes his hand and like whacks it across your leg a couple times. You see, you don't feel that at all. Like that's just look at the like that's wiggling way too much.
There's just like tension building up in her at this moment.
Get out a hammer and nail. Don't feel that at all.
You can't fit.
Don't worry. That's going to clear itself up after a couple of hours. So that'll take care of itself because it has to make its way out of your system, right?
Can I go?
No, I got a lot of tests to run. I mean, you're really better off just laying back down. That's really. I'm sorry I got your hopes up there, but you really need to get back in the reclined position there.
Are there nearby windows?
But yeah, I mean, there are windows in this area. You can see outside. You can see the skyline and the tracing of seagulls and so on. It's clear you're still in the sea ward.
I still want to see this escape attempt.
Oh yeah, no, this is bad idea starting from here on out. So in a moment of panic, she's going to pull on a newly developed ability to shapeshift into a mastiff, assuming said change of shape might help her escape out a window.
Okay.
Yep.
Things are going to go
They've never
very
seen that
badly.
side effect.
Nope, that's new.
All right. So you're going to shapeshift into a mastiff there on the table.
On the table, there's going to be an attempt, and I'm assuming it's probably going to end up being a jelly-legged attempt, to hobble towards a window and fling oneself out of it.
So
Potato yourself out.
So walk me
Ever
through.
seen a mastiff
So the
on
order
Wall
is mastiff out the window, right?
Yeah, mastiff from like table to floor, from floor to near window, and then as approaching window, trying to get that like jump.
So you're polymorphing. You're changing shape first, and then attempting the escape.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay. So
Jellyfishing all over there.
your frame begins
she's
to
panicked and unaware of where she
Lands
is.
on the floor on all four legs.
Just
Your frame begins to stretch in some portions and compact in others. Hair begins to sprout all over you as you sort of fall into this hound-like
literally.
position. You see the half-elven surgeon like recoil very quickly. You see him then like there's a clear moment where he makes kind of an understanding about what's going on. He's not in shock anymore, and he's just kind of watching you with a sort of like a strange smile on his face.
I just want like the tongue to like stick out, just like numb.
The
like,
lull to
He
the
throws
side.
back his head. My vision is alive.
You transform into that mastiff. You are now standing all fours on this table, and you make your way
Just jump off of
leap
it.
out of the table. Give me a acrobatics check.
It's like one of those cats that
As
sits
the
there
mastiff, right?
Yep.
looking to jump a distance, and they leap and go like 2 inches and
Flat,
sit down.
yeah.
2 inches, just like arms, just.
Yeah, just
legs all the way out.
Starfish.
You're just pulling yourself.
Dex plus two.
Yeah, he's
natural one. This is exactly what I wanted.
Very nice. So this mastiff leaps, and your legs spread wide, ready to go. and you fall directly onto your belly with a kind of a smacking sound. And
Female
the
mastiff, right? It's female mastiff, right?
I would assume so.
Okay, good.
In a moment of panic.
You don't want to do that as a male.
there's a clear, sharp pain going up your belly into your chest, and you see out of your periphery the half-elven surgeon like.
Fuck is going on? The weirdest day ever.
There's the quick, like, the toenails on hardwood just going.
And you see the half
No progress.
the half-elven picks you up by the belly and like,
Have you
okay,
seen
all right,
Mastiff?
we're gonna put you back on the table here. Okay.
Is that like a 120
do you want-
pound kind
do you
of
want, like-
mastiff?
Probably.
You want paws up or down? How you want me to do this?
Just shift back at that point. Just
Oh, hey, oh!
trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
He kind of drops you as you return to your human form. You, this is well.
Where am I?
You're in the middle of a great Thursday.
Who are you?
Okay, allow me to explain.
Yeah,
please.
that'd be good.
Great. Can you not do the whole Zoo Tycoon thing going on here? You ever play that board game, Zoo Tycoon?
Is it goat farming simulator? not quite.
No,
Comes
not
up
much
next year.
for table.
All right. Well, so you were shot. I mean, that much you understand, right? The thing on your neck. You see,
Like a dart?
in terms of physics, yes,
Okay.
but also no.
Okay.
Are you familiar with firearms, like a pistol, right?
No.
Okay. This is the fun part. Okay, so imagine that you had a crossbow, right? You know what that is, right? Shoot arrows or bolts or whatever right out. Okay, so you got that. Take away the string. That's not there anymore. We don't need that. Just throw that away. Take the bolt and just like squish it up and just make it like a ball, right? Okay.
Okay.
Then put some explosives in the crossbow. Put the ball near the explosive and then ignite the explosive.
Wouldn't that blow you up?
In theory, yes. But in practice, not very often. The explosion makes the metal ball shoot out really fast and hurt things. That's basically what a pistol is.
Sounds like a weapon for idiots.
Are cannons a lot more common?
I mean, cannons are a thing. Yeah, I mean, you understand.
Oh, it's a miniature cannon.
Ah! How do you carry?
I mean,
that way?
the very
Like a hand
basic
cannon.
of fire, like circa the 18th, or early 18th century firearms. You know, that's what we're talking about. So anything
We
that
just took a cannon and made it small.
anything that could be conceivably used during like the Revolutionary War or something like that, or the Napoleonic Wars, that makes sense.
These cannons were around a long time.
You were
Couldn't
shot
get the metal.
with
straight.
one of those. So there was a ball in your neck that I had to dig out, and I had to try to neutralize the poison as best as I could, because you can soak these things in poison, you know, like arrows, and it's real fucked up actually what they do to the body, regardless of whatever you are. So.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we don't often get somebody here on the table up who does the old body shift thing. So that was that's fun. Thank you for that. So it's been a rough couple of days. I really put the spirit in me. Can you not do that ever again, though, and also not make your way towards the window? Because I do need to run those tests.
As long as you can tell me where I am.
Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, you're in Zarimtar Station. But
Okay. See, you looked like a crazy person.
thank
and
you.
You were acting like a crazy person.
Okay, I'm not the one who turned into a dog and tried to exit out a second floor window. So
if we're
I don't even
measuring
know.
crazy here,
I don't even know if the intention made it. I think it just turned and flopped.
So, if we're talking mental stability here, I don't think you're exactly the expert on the situation.
We're gonna need 72-hour observation.
Well, you get taken out like that, and you kind of assume somebody's kid.
No. Sure. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. But also, don't do that. So,
Please stay on this table.
you seem like you're okay. You can clearly, you turn into a dog, so like injured people don't really do that very often.
Cowards.
So, tell you what, I'm going to let you walk around. Clearly you're fine. Your legs are going to be a little funny still, regardless of what you're at the time. But you can stay in the station, but I'm going to need you to come back up and do those tests, okay? If you want to kind of orient yourself with the place, maybe go see your friend downstairs, that's fine too. But don't leave the station because I'm going to need a lot of blood from you.
That's insane to say.
Okay, yeah. So, cool. Take a walk. Have some coffee.
I'm gonna look around for something.
I'll be up here if you need me.
Use as a bit of a crutch.
He
A
sees
walking
you.
stick or something.
He sees you. Oh, right.
Crutches.
Right. You need support.
It'd be nice.
Wheelchair.
In today's day.
Okay.
I don't know about
You see that he makes his way across the room to sort of like what looks like a pile of sort of disused bric-a-brac, and he returns with what looks like a billiards cue, yeah.
Is
Is it a cue? Is that I'm thinking of this right? Yeah. So it hands it to you. Okay, so you're gonna want to put the smaller end towards the bottom, right? So use the bigger end, right?
Hook that.
So that's all we got. So
Go
Yeah.
hobble around a little bit. Make sure it is actually a station.
sure enough, as you make your way very, very delicately down the stairs, you find that this is a police station. There are a couple of officers sort of milling about. You can see outside through the various windows that it's the Sea Ward, and the place checks out. Yeah.
I'll try to catch the attention of one of them and be like, "There's somebody else brought in with me. Could I go see them?"
There was, ma'am, but I'm afraid I have to check in with our man to make sure that you can go downstairs. If you'll wait here for a moment. You see him walk over, speak to a gentleman that appears to be setting a chair up behind a large desk. There's some whispered conversation, some low-toned conversation. The person being spoken to looks at you, looks back, and kind of gives a slight nod. The officer returns to you. Well, you're allowed to have a brief visit. We're keeping your friend, I take it, under observation. We'll have to verify some elements of his story, but you're more than welcome to have a conversation with him through the bars. I suppose you'll be needing a chair, or...
That would be appreciated.
Okay. So if you'll make your way down that stairway there, I'll tell you what. Yeah, he grabs a nearby wooden chair. Just take that down with you. You'll find him is the furthest cell on the left.
All right. Thanks.
Just call us or scream if you need me.
All right.
So you make your way down the stairs, and you can see this sort of low-light, dingy area. It's clearly... It is...
You're hearing this very slow, tonk, thump, tonk, thump.
Your mind, Sid, is filled with terrors.
Usually.
You realize that as a child you were constantly frightened by the story of the clunking man.
Not the
That
cloggy man.
He's coming
no!
for you.
The Danish clogs.
Not the clogs.
So you see down the hall. You see what is clearly a hobbling Nora heading your way with carrying a chair. And this place looks like it could be fairly called a dungeon. Let's be honest.
It's interesting to be on this side of the bars.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm normally not on this side. How you feeling?
I can barely walk.
Yeah. Looks like it. So, you're alive.
So people keep telling me.
It looked like you were in a lot of trouble when you were hit.
Looks like you're in a lot of trouble now.
I cleared that up. They'll let me know in a couple hours.
Alright.
However, I did have to explain to him that what we were doing, in our business with our sanctioned business about dealing with the Zentarum and Xanathar Guild thing, being like, hopefully understanding she gets what I'm going at.
You get the nod in the wall.
So we just have to talk about the right people, and they just have to confirm our story, and then should be good to go. Are you going to be able to leave, or?
Well, I'm sure by the time they let you out of here, I'll be right as rain.
6 to 8 months.
Something you should know. I don't know
It takes
whether or not this is completely the case, but something I was able to talk to the guard was we may have been attacked, possibly, by a drow mercenary group.
Oh.
Maybe some of Rhys's friends.
Wait, Rhys has friends?
Good point.
Checks out.
Checks out.
I thought you said he just got out of prison.
Let's say what kind of prison?
Are they
Drow
prison friends?
Drow prison, man.
So, what was the name? What was the name that was dropped again?
Of the mercenary group.
The mercenary group?
Bragendirth?
Bragen Dareth.
How do you spell that?
I can
'Cause
spell it for you.
I'm gonna ruin that.
B-R-E-G-A-N, Bragen, and then D''A-E-R-T-H-E. Clearly, like
That's some
sort of
shit.
Celtic or an Irish kind of inspired. Bragen Dareth.
Right. So, I don't know what we may have done to upset them, but or who have hired them. But now that that's the thing.
Alright. What do you know about this group?
I learned a lot about drow. So yeah, I recount my whole study session about what I know about the drow now.
The small seminar you was
Yes.
Drow built.
Your diversity sounds
like-
Yeah, exactly.
needed.
So that seems it's about the best of it.
Now,
Drow society.
I know I've ruffled some feathers here, but
I don't think it's
that seems a little out of place.
It wasn't personal, kid.
If they're targeting you, it's either someone you know or someone that we recently have made unhappy. Which could mean actually this could be connected in what I said. It's actually true.
You
It's
might
the
be right
halfling.
there.
It's the halfling you charm.
Wouldn't that be some shit? What a twist! That would blow my mind. Man. That would just I'd be like, Jesus, that's some grade A revenge story.
Wait,
right
what?
there.
Sorry, what? I missed the. What was
It's
the?
like it's that halfling I tried to charm in the house.
Oh, right.
I was like, wow, what a crazy revenge story. Anyway,
They just misremembered some of the details and hit the wrong person, or just stray bulleted a little
just-
bit.
Shot whiffed.
so wow. Anyway, but
I'd assume they wouldn't be a fan of women, from what you explained.
oh yeah, it could just be a hate crime. But I'd like to think that it's either probably because of what we've done or maybe what we're looking into. But then, it's weird.
hate crimes are pretty prevalent in the city, I guess.
Yeah. Man, Waterdeep. You're crazy. So, a bunch of options. We should put ourselves up. Because whatever they hit you with looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it's had lasting effects. So if it is whoever we pissed off in those sewers, that's a pretty quick turnaround. We should probably let the others know as soon as possible. And well, I'm not going to be going very far, and you're not going to be going anywhere, so
Right.
they're kind of on their own for a couple hours.
I'm sure they're fine. They're resourceful. As I look over, like,
Shifting over.
There it is.
Shifting over back to the apartment block. The door,
It's like 15
key
now.
opening.
So as soon as I hear the key, I press myself up against the wall at the side of the door.
Okay. All right, who's going out the window? Come
Yeah. So what are the two of
Turn
you
into a
doing? What
massive.
is Temperance and Rhys?
I'm going to the plate of food, make it look like I'm eating.
I assume that you're pressing yourself against the wall in the way that like the door
Like
will
there.
obscure you,
Yeah.
rather than
Hiding behind the door.
No, I'm on the side that opens.
Like
So
this
so
side?
the
Okay.
moment before ready to stab a boy who walked through a door.
So you'll hear the door opens up this way, and then you like that.
So
wait, in relation to this door.
Yeah.
Which
where
way
are
do you want to be?
So the
Light
door
switch?
opens up that way.
so I'd be on that wall.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as soon as the person opens up the door, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, if he looks sideways, nobody
Sure.
looks sideways.
No, that's up.
No.
Oh,
They look.
no.
They immediately look up. They know. Are there
I know when I
spiders?
enter my house, I'm always like immediately like, hey,
There
what's
could be a
going on?
bucket of water. You know?
Ceiling's still there. Yeah. Or a
Yeah,
shotgun
catch-
apparently tied to a string. Okay.
If there's a shadow, I will try to hide.
There's like a vaguely dark corner to this. You could hide sort of in a kind of a crawl space next to the bed, like under the bed is probably your best option, honestly. So if you want to make a stealth check, it's going to be tough. It'll be a disadvantage.
What?
You got to taunt on that bed.
This? Yeah. Now you open
How
it.
did it open? It's not gonna,
Oh,
You can re-roll that if you want.
not
Okay.
Because you're like, as this opens, you're just eating. He's like trying to
jump under the
scurry.
bed, get stuck halfway.
Okay, so the door opens, and you see like a cloaked figure. Specifically, you in the best sort of position as you are sort of like find that the bed is a little too low to the ground, and so you underestimated the clearance. So you're a little like trying to squeeze under there. You see very clearly that this is the same lizard folk that you saw in the warehouse.
Okay,
earlier.
as soon as he enters the room, take out one of my short swords and stick it to his neck.
Come in.
Your soup is wonderful.
Time to die.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here is the bigger question.
This isn't your apartment.
A friend of Darwin's.
Right.
Why don't you sit down?
Yes, please sit down.
Very slowly, watching the point of the short sword, closes the door behind him and makes his way over to the one chair has clearly been occupied by Temperance. So he makes his way over and sort of gingerly steps over you, Rhys, to sit on the bed,
It's been split open.
looking at the slit open. And
I just sigh and pointed. I enter the bed.
so, Rhys, you're able to sort of like wiggle out slightly, and now you're, fully in.
There's
the-
some
the-
lovely filth down here, Dad.
How fortuitous to see you again. We was hoping to talk to you.
What is this about?
Well, it's about Darwin.
What about him?
Well, seems he died under somewhat mysterious circumstances. And when we was talking earlier at the brewery, you seemed kind of upset about the conversation.
I liked Darwin. He was the
friend. Every time is
All right, I'm gonna do
Insight.
Insight.
All right. Nope. That's
12.
6.
Let me help you. 10.
Seems like a lizard man on the up and up.
Seems truthful about reference.
All right, so
Every time his death is mentioned, it hurts a little.
I see. Then perhaps maybe you can shed some light on this recent activity, why this may have happened to him. I mean, it seems a little odd that he was cooking dinner, and in the middle of that, he fell down some stairs.
Or even more suspiciously, he had this accident after driving a wagon that did not deliver the goods that were loaded onto it.
I don't know anything about it.
Inside again.
Yeah, I mean, inside all day.
Oh,
13.
Jesus Christ. 6.
18.
Seems like he's telling the truth.
Who are you people? Why are you interested in...
We're investigating the missing whiskey.
Yes, we're independent contractors investigating the missing whiskey.
So you don't work for the warehouse?
No, we don't
No.
work at the warehouse.
You see him kind of soften a little bit.
What you tell us will not go to the warehouse or the city guard.
There's a moment of silence as he sort of swallows and takes a moment.
Darwin and I, we had a bit of a system where we would skim a little off the top.
Told you to tax us.
Seems fair.
It's not unusual for things to go missing in shipment, transport, packaging.
No, of course, a couple bottles get broken. Nobody's to blame.
And I've always been conservative about my takings, but Darwin had a bigger eye than mine. He was always interested in taking more. He talked about putting something together, a bigger take. I wouldn't have any of it. I worked hard to get this warehouse job on my own, and in this mostly human part of the city, I wasn't going to jeopardize that.
Where's the light?
Darwin, well, when you're a human, you find it a little easier to get away with things.
Yeah, the filthy bastards. So this little tax you would impose on your shipments, I take it you would resell that somewhere?
Sometimes it would be sold to some interested parties in the various wards in the North Ward and Castle Ward. But sometimes we would keep it for ourselves.
And you see him, he actually opens up his coat and there's a bottle of Tethrian whiskey inside.
And you're like, ah!
That's where it is. The serial numbers match.
Yes, but if he was going to take a large amount, he wouldn't be keeping that for himself.
Big party, birthday.
All I know is that he wouldn't. I cared for Darwin dearly, but he wasn't a bright man. He had bigger aspirations than thoughts. And I understood that if he was going to take more and try to pass it off, especially in a way that the bosses wouldn't have noticed, there would have been he would have needed help. Help I wasn't going to give him.
Right.
Did he mention anybody?
Or do you know of anybody who might have provided this help?
There's a man that I have seen before who has used our product and cut us into the deals made so we can make a profit. Enel. I understand that he traffics in this sort of thing often. I'm not a criminal.
Of course not.
So I don't know his people, the way that he works. All I know is the name, and that once or twice before he's taken some of our skimmings and given us our fair share.
Find this gentleman.
I suspect he would be active in the trades ward.
Can you tell me his name again?
Enel, E-N-N-E-L.
Can you think of a reason why he would kill Darwin?
Who said?
Doesn't want anybody talking if he's...
He was
something
too
like
stupid
this.
to try it again?
It's clear that my friend was involved in something bigger than him, and he was the unfortunate, what is the word you use? Scapegoat.
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense. One bottle out of 20 point to his cloak.
Yeah.
Might go unnoticed, but taking the entire shipment, of course that's going to be noticed.
I suspect he thought that he would be considered a valuable asset in these larger takings. He clearly thought that he was
Protected.
protected. Yes. Something got bungled. Somewhere, the plan didn't go
He probably demanded more money.
to fruition, and now my friend is dead, and I come here to his apartment, try to enjoy a meal on my time off, and try to remember him, and I get interrogated.
Well, we're trying to investigate the death of your friend, so hopefully it's worth
there's a blade to
your time.
Well, this is a dangerous part of town, so I hope you don't hold the blade to your throat against me.
Are you still doing it?
No. No, as soon as he went to sit down...
That's a whole different context. If the blade's still there. Like,
No, as soon as he went to sit
Slowly
down,
bring it back
I
up.
put my blade away.
Sit down. I can't. It's still up. No.
I'm
Sit. No lower.
I'm no fool. I know how this city works.
So where can we find Enel?
It said probably in the trade ward.
South Trades Ward, probably near the dock ward, the border between the two.
Al-Cid might know.
Is that where Darwin might have taken the wagon to offload the whiskey?
I'm not sure. I was never involved in this scheme of his.
This one. This was a solo job.
Well,
On his part.
I think we know where we need to go.
Yes.
By the way,
And
the one with the blade
maybe
did
we
the
should
mattress.
meet back with our friends.
What was that?
Maybe we should meet back with our friends before we go any further.
Reconvene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you leave me be, please?
Sure, you probably won't see us again.
Well, there are.
Probably.
Just like set the plate down.
And we leave, right?
Yeah.
the lizard folk man just sort of just stares at you like unblinkingly as you file out of the apartment and close the door.
Yeah, fucking capitalist.
He's just trying to make his way.
So we don't even know where to find them, though, do we?
Nope.
I've just got a harmonica in like my jail cell. And,
Well, I assume that they made their way
Ritually
back to
casting
Crowskull
detect
Manor
poison.
now.
Just
I
to
mean,
make
they've
sure
had
it's
enough time, don't you think?
less a restoration.
It's second level, man. I don't know, man. It's that third. Damn.
Lesser? It might be second. It might be third. Yeah, it might be third. No, because I think it's greater. I think it's third.
Greater feels like that should be fourth or fifth.
I think
Yeah,
lesser
greater.
is third because protection and poison.
It depends what class you
Second.
are. If you're a ranger, you can get it like first or second level.
So you are outside of 311.
Protection is second.
You have just spoken with the grieving lizard
What's your
folk
restoration second?
friend of the late Darwin Seamus. And
Feel good about that.
yeah,
That went well.
alignment checks. Yep, still evil. It's a small watch with only like 8 faces. Oh, it's still evil. Yeah. Oh, it's evil o'clock.
Checks
Cool.
out. That's good.
So what? So what now?
I suggest we go back to True Skull Manor, see if
Yeah.
our friends have returned.
Business associates,
Yes.
enterprise.
Our
Entrepreneurs.
our employer for this job seemed to think that our acquisition of Troll Skull Manor was quite hilarious.
Still hate that we have to pay the guild.
Yeah, you don't really want to end up dead, do you?
I don't want to pay people money.
Spoken like a true libertarian.
Hey, in this world, it's your GP or your HP.
That's a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Spoken like a band?
I would buy that. I would buy that bumper sticker.
It's a warehound eat warehound. So you're heading back to Troll Skull Manor.
Hellhound.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
bury
sounds
you
good.
out. We're home.
So shifting back to our friends at Zarimtar Station.
Just completed a ritual casting of detect poison and disease.
Just on the ground, just like right.
Yeah, just right in front of your cell.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what's
it's like
the
5 STDs.
the radius on that? What's the
I think it's like a
60 feet.
30-foot cone or something. Because it's based
Yeah, let's
on-
find out real quick. Hold on. Do the spells. Do the spells I've selected.
Yeah, I think it's
Range self. Self 30 feet.
within 30 feet of you?
Mhm.
Okay, so target self and within 30 feet.
Blocked
Cool.
by 1 foot of stone, inch of common metal.
okay. So I thought that was okay.
Okay, so you're basically you end up because of the bars and everything like that. That's sort of blocking your. So you're not. Unfortunately, you're not checking Sid out for poison or disease. But there are. You detect that there are still residual traces of sure enough, a drow poison in your bloodstream.
Presence and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases.
Identified kind of poison.
Yep. So yeah, we'll have spent probably 10 or so minutes.
Or poisonous
kind of
creatures. You
focused.
find this is a spider finding spell. Thinking poisonous creatures. Snakes everywhere.
And it's only kind, so if there's a specific name to the drow poison,
No, not particularly. It's
Or
just
maybe
sort
what
of-
it does.
It's just understood as a common poison used by the drow. It's meant
poison.
okay.
to.
Drow poison TM.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, drow
necessarily-
poison.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily know what it does by the sound of it. Just you identify the type of poison.
Probably spider. Makes sense for drown.
By type, what do you think they mean exactly?
It might be.
What's
like,
its purpose,
What
I
its
think.
purpose? Like what it
It's clearly
does.
meant to.
Is it damage or like
Is it a
stung?
killer? Is it a?
It's not meant to kill.
Oh.
Well, I mean, excuse me. It's not meant to.
kill out.
It doesn't cause HP damage, if that's what you're sort of getting. It basically, you have to succeed in a con saving throw, like a lot, like a lot of poisons. But if you fail, you're poisoned for an hour, and if you fail the throw by 5 or more, you're unconscious while poisoned. So it's meant to be sort of like
They're slavers, so they want to knock you out.
It's a kind of a stealth knockout kind of thing that also weakens the body so that you're more pliable to sort of
Capture.
aggressive suggestions. Yes.
It's a lot like a spider.
So most of the damage that you sustained happened from just being shot
Yeah.
with a bullet coated
In the neck.
stuff. Yeah. So based on that, based on what you've gathered from the information about the poison, the gunshot, and everything, the amount of poison still left in your system, the amount that would give me an intelligence check, actually, as we're piecing this together with your new information.
Hey. 5.
You want to try that again?
Sure.
Oh wait, this is intelligence.
Might as well use one. Yeah. I'm wise, not smart. Black instead. There you go. 18.
Very good. Okay.
Fixed it.
So putting all this information together, you realize that if what the surgeon told you is true, you were shot with round shot out of a pistol that must have been coated in this poison. That wouldn't be enough of traditional drow poison to achieve this like unconscious exacting effect. So clearly the intent here wasn't in the traditional sense of rendering you unconscious to take you away. There's simply not enough poison here to get the job done for a person of your race, your build, all that stuff like that.
Always comes down to race.
I know those dwarves. You gotta double.
And
the
so,
dose.
so,
Or the halflings.
so you're left with this sense of confusion. Right? Why would, if the point was to render you unconscious with poison, why was pistol shot used? Why not a dart or an arrow, like a dart from a blowgun, or just a simple like dart or a bolt or anything? Why weren't those things used to deliver the poison rather than a pistol shot, which causes a significant amount of damage, makes an obvious wound, even more obvious than bolts and arrows?
It's a calling card.
Well, yeah, it seems like it could be somebody's trying to send a message, but at the same time, do you do that with a bullet that might like kill your target at the same time?
Well, I mean, if their intent was to kill him, then it's just a calling card. You know, oh, it's drow poison. It's their signature.
Yeah. Although with the number of firearms in this world,
That's a big enough.
yeah, that may be enough.
signature.
Yeah. So putting all things together, you're left with more questions than you are answers.
Who it do? What it do?
Still a lot I don't understand about what's going on here.
I'm afraid we won't really have too much more enlightened until we go and speak with the others. But we did get that name of that person who deals with the illicit whiskey.
Oh, Enel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like fennel. Not
Like fennel, but without the. Yeah.
There's no here. It's all serious.
That's what Darwin went to get, fennel. Goes perfectly with leeks.
It's true.
Final mistake.
Damn it, Rhys, you've cracked this case wide open.
Case of the missing herb.
No, Herb isn't missing. He's still in town.
My God.
Okay, so this is where we are now. This is where we are in terms of the narrative.
Descended.
We're talking about Earth. Okay, so
Nora's gonna spend her time as far away from the surgeon who wants more blood as possible.
as you finish your detect poison and disease, actually, about that time you hear footsteps coming down the stairs
Surgeons
to
carrying
make
15 diseases.
their way down to the sort of dungeon level of the cells. You see, sure enough, that same half-elf surgeon. He's carrying a large glass jar, about the size of like a person's head, in one arm. There's a series of what looks like tubes that are sort of hanging out of the jar, and what looks like
a sort of a palm full of various bronze instruments. Like there's a scalpel here, what looks like crude forceps and everything, holding them down.
There's
Coming
a
down the
quick,
stairs.
bolt upright, grabbing the bars of the cell. You gotta get me out of here.
He's
Coming back.
They're gonna take me.
We still good for our appointment?
You gotta do something. Come on.
Protect me.
All right, time to do charm person and
Sergeant?
Yeah.
I said surgeon, but like
surgeon.
Doctor?
Sergeant, surgeon?
Surgeon?
Yes, I'm a doctor.
Yes.
it's on the wall.
My friend seems to be I guess feeling pretty ill since
Don't you sell me out here. Son of a bitch.
since
Still feeling ill, huh? Well, we need to run those
Well, I was
tests.
saying, like, is it possible to take not as much of whatever you were planning?
Your friend is under my care, and I'm going to need a lot of testable material to make sure that she's going to be okay.
Al-Cid, you son of a bitch.
Did she tell you that she turned into a dog and tried to escape earlier? Because
did?
those aren't the actions of a well person. So we're going to figure this out.
I mean, it sounds like a dog in a vet. So it checks out. Even a healthy dog wants to get out of a vet office.
How big is Al-Cid's cell?
It is...
Like 20-foot square, maybe? Smaller?
Smaller than this room, or
It's smaller than this room.
X.
Yes. We're talking about maybe 5 by 10. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Longer than it is wide. Yeah.
Going to quickly cast a little spell and just fill your room up with entangling vines as I'm being dragged away by the doctor.
Oh, come on! I'm sorry. I tried.
You sold me out, you son of a bitch!
I didn't know you turned
Cells
into a
at Alcatraz
dog.
were 5 feet by 9 feet, so.
Okay, I was
Nice.
all right. Yeah.
It's,
Nice.
as I'm like curled up in my chair, like I can't touch. Like the floor is lava, but the floor is vines.
So as the surgeon sort of grabs you by the shoulder and is like leading you back towards the staircase, as we hear like shoots coming out from the dirt floor of the dungeon, filling up your cell. You hear after Al-Cid finishes yelling, a second set of footsteps on the stairs. Coming down.
It's another surgeon who needs your blood now.
Coming down is the officer that arrested you in the first place. He comes down, takes a look at the surgeon and you, takes a look at the cell filled with entangling vines.
you tried to kill the witness.
He was gonna talk.
What's the meaning of this?
she's not happy that she has to go get blood taken. And it's taking her
I'm running some tests.
I just I'm staring at this new person who is walking
as I'm
into
like,
my life.
as I'm like trying to get real, like playing it off real casually. That I'm like, I have to just be on my chair. Like,
I would like to make a charisma check for puppy dog eyes.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
You've learned.
18.
Okay. So the officer looks at you and then looks at the surgeon.
Just got them away.
Kind of raises his hand. I'm sure this test can wait. Get back upstairs. Sir, I have strong concerns about this person's longevity and with respect to the poison. I couldn't go upstairs. Okay. Well, and he begins
is
to
this a
sort of.
concentrate spell? Okay.
He makes a kind of like a sort of a circle around the officer, giving you clear eyes, Nora. It's like, well, if somebody keels over from poison because I wasn't able to find some particular issues with their blood work, then well, that's just that's on somebody else's hands. It's not on mine.
As he's doing the monologue, I'm giving him the like fingers to my eyes, fingers to his eyes, fingers to my eyes.
And so he makes his way back up the stairs.
It wasn't finger to throat.
No, I don't want him dead. I just got my eyes on him.
He looks at you, Nora, and then sort of gestures in the direction of Sid's cell.
I do drop the effect. They kind of like wither and die back to the ground.
You're lucky that, well, if you're any other criminals, I'd throw you into a cell as well and keep you down here for a week.
Yeah.
Don't magic my dungeon. Is that clear?
Understood.
Now then, and he makes his way over to Sid's cell and unlocks the door. Two of you are free to go. Story's been checked out independently by some of our officers, and we've also received word from a Renair Neverember. I'm sure you're familiar with the name. He has spoken to your reputations and backs up your story. So, as far as we're concerned, simply another case of wrong place, wrong time.
We're good at this.
I step out the cell and just like turn around. And, thank you, officer.
It's Lieutenant, actually.
Lieutenant. Well, best of luck with these strange attacks, and well, with Waterdeep.
I need to remind you that you shouldn't leave the city.
Absolutely.
We may have further questions for you.
Well, we
Though
will.
you're currently not considered active suspects.
Give us time.
Now then, get the hell out of here. Still the day left.
Right away. Up those stairs with a quickness.
Okay, and you...
As I like, I'm like, see, I got you.
You look out at the half-elf surgeons at the window.
and you push your way out out of Zarimtar Station into the streets of the seaport.
And you get shot again.
A second time.
I was thinking shooter.
Oh my god.
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive. It's about it hits like 3 other people like a bouncing bullet.
That's like Deadshot. It bounces off like 14 things before it hits.
My
Start
god.
hearing music from the background.
All calculated.
What you say?
It's just simple geometry.
Anyway, so you're there on the streets of Seaward. It's close to it's turning into evening. We're in the sort of 5-6 o'clock territory, and you see there's still a couple of people milling about. You know, you see a sailor here and there, a merchant, young couple making their way through. But for the most part, it seems like you're in the clear.
See, I told you I could help you with that, sir.
You got lucky on the timing there.
Yes. So then I'd be like, all right, let's go see what what the others are doing.
I could use some food. Let's stop by a vendor on the way back.
I agree. So I'm like,
No, great place that does street meats if you're interested.
let's do it.
Chicken strips from Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
Get the gravy.
Is there a Dairy Queen?
Walk down, just
I'm
sleeves rolled
looking
out.
for like a kebab vendor, effectively.
Yeah, you're able to. Yeah, there's quite a few in this area specifically. There's some sort of seafood oriented kind of
Shrimp kebabs.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Shrimp on the
Yeah.
yeah. So you spend a few copper, get a couple of shish kebabs, and enjoy that as you make your way back to Troll Skull Manor. Fast forward to the evening. It's about sort of it's about 8 o'clock at this point. It was previously about 6. The lot of you have again come together in the tap room, the bottom floor of Troll Skull Manor.
What a fucking day.
It was eventful.
Yeah, so was ours.
You don't say.
There's still that very visible gauze bandage on the
Are
side of her
you
neck.
alright? I mean, there seems to be...
No. I'm not alright.
Well, what happened?
I got shot.
We were assailed.
Shot with, like, an arrow?
No,
No,
apparently...
think of like a cannon.
Yeah,
but
but
small.
You got shot with a cannon?
No, yeah, but like, put the cannon in your
I
hand.
mean, it felt like getting shot by a cannon.
A hand cannon.
Like a hand cannon.
Yeah.
A cannon that shoots hands?
Oh shit! Just slaps you.
Pop. Sounds magical.
Yeah, it gives a whole new meaning to slappers only.
I thought that was the original meaning.
There's a spell in old D&D, Big B's crushing hand.
Crushing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we have found maybe one lead of who may have
Yeah, it
ended
seems
our
the
patient's
driver
life.
was working a little on the side
You don't
and
say.
hoping to make a big score. He has a contact that facilitates such things.
Well-
Name of Enel.
Well, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Because Jamart was talking about the same person.
Yeah, this NL deals with underground whiskey sorts.
It's a half-elven woman, I think. At least that's what he referred to them by. Not sure if they were a first-name basis.
Yes, we didn't get much of the description of this Enel. The lizard man that we talked to seemed a little cold.
It's a little rude of you.
Well,
he had a sword to his neck for
well,
Oh.
but it was a bad neighborhood.
Oh, I see. So
After we
if we have a chat with you in a bad neighborhood, we should guard our necks.
well, we were illegally breaking into a house.
Oh,
Yeah, it seems
I
that-
see.
It seems our driver is dead.
Yes. He was cooking dinner and somehow fell down a flight of stairs.
All right.
Wow, you guys had quite the day.
So meeting this person we might need to be on guard.
Something to note.
Yeah.
We were attacked. So as we mentioned earlier, Nora was attacked, and there is some speculation that it is a drow mercenary group that is potentially going around shooting people with poisoned ammunition.
Alright. Can I make a raw intelligence check to see if I know anything about drow and mercenary groups in the city?
Sure.
I will drop the name, but
You make it a disadvantage.
Okay.
Bring
This
in
is going
dollars.
to go well.
fair.
Well, disadvantage didn't really do nothing because I got 2 4s. So
Nice.
4.
So which 4 are you picking?
The yellow.
The better
Yeah.
It's a better quality. A better quality 4.
Yeah.
We all know the color.
So,
What's a drow?
you don't know shit about... You know the drows
We ain't found shit.
are often mercenaries, but as far as a proper group of drow mercenaries, this is news to you.
Haven't come across them in my line of work.
Yeah, they
I mean,
goes up by themselves.
I'm gonna know, right?
If we had,
I mean, do you know every drow?
It's a fairly common group. I mean,
You might have advantage on the roll.
Yeah, you
I would say that's fair. Yeah, you would.
what role is it?
You know?
Yeah, like an intelligence check, or if you want to do history, if that helps you too.
Both the same. 18.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so Rhys, you have heard of DragonHeist before. It's sort of like it's almost like a kind of a boogeyman kind of name. You know that they are at least considered by sort of proper drow society. They're a disreputable group. They are, again, filling in the information that
Cid provided you. They're masterless drow males who are involved in this mercenarial group that you know has no sort of, at least seemingly, has no moral qualms about the jobs that it does. You know that they're almost exclusively male, but it's not outside of the question for a female drow or even non-drow operatives to be a part of the organization, but not in elements of
Leadership.
They're not in positions of leadership or real vast importance. You know that they are skilled, or at least from what you've heard, at infiltrating criminal organizations. So they're mercenaries, so technically they're not a criminal organization per se, but they're good at infiltrating other organizations and sort of dismantling them from within.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's what I don't know who we may have upset to have these particular people attack us, but beyond that, don't know too much more about that.
Do you think they'll have any connection to our missing driver or our dead driver?
Seems a little tangential, but could be.
We didn't see the body, so.
Well, how would they know we're working on that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's more of a reaction to what we've been doing rather than
Before.
In the sewers. Because we interrupted some stuff there.
Yeah, we there was some heavy shit.
And
According
maybe
to,
we blew somebody's cover, or worse, we killed somebody undercover.
Well,
So was that the game where we had that one guy escape through the side door?
well, there were certain creatures that like to hang out underdark in that little fiasco.
Are you just profiling them at every turn here?
Can't believe you would say something like that.
I mean, I suppose it's your job. But
This is a game Daniels would play.
Oh God! Those damn drow.
No, I don't have anything personal against Drow, but from what I know about it, they usually hang out in Underdark.
He says with Rhys like right next to him. Her, sorry.
Right here.
Moving forward. Let's so we
Rest
need to go find this. We need to go find this Enel person. Do we know exactly where to find her? Oh fucking Christ!
Sorry, somebody else should get that. I'm in no condition.
I got it.
I'll go. You want the door?
Yes.
Do not cast charm person on me.
Close your man.
Hello. So you open the door?
Yeah.
Okay. You
I'll
see
just travel regularly.
standing in front of the doorway, two genasi. A fire genasi and a water genasi.
Well, they should be friends.
Both of them seem to be male genasi. They're dressed in,
Sure.
what looks like sort of workman's clothing. The
Non-binary.
the fire genasi is carrying what looks like about a yay big sort of something wrapped in leather. Was holding it, and the water genasi sort of raises a hand and hello.
Hello.
Hi, you're the new tenants with Trollskull Manor, right?
That would be correct.
And he offers his hand out. Avi, it's nice. It's nice to meet you.
Moist.
Al-Cid, pleasure.
May we come in?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Great.
Was our gesture.
Come on. And the two of them enter and take a seat at a nearby table to make sure that they're within sort of talking distance to the lot of you. Well, motley looking room.
We don't have much to serve you for a drink.
Oh, no, we're not. Oh, that's okay.
Unless if you want
Oh,
vinegar.
no, that's okay.
There's
We're
a lot
not,
of
we're
drink.
not here about that. So,
as I said before, I mentioned to your man here. Does he work for you?
Co-owner.
Oh,
We all
I'm so sorry.
no, it's fine. We all kind of own
Okay.
the.
It's a large group.
Sort of a joint ownership
Conglomerate,
thing.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned to him, I'm Avi. This is my partner, Embrick,
Nice.
and we have a little forge business in the neighborhood. Steam and Steel. You might have seen it.
Oh,
We saw that you moved in, and we thought we'd make a good impression by coming in and welcoming you to the neighborhood. Us business people, we got to stay together.
Oh, absolutely.
So, have you had trouble moving in? Any issues with the place? Or?
Well, as I gesture broadly across it, it's a fixer upper for sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this place has been in need of some TLC for a long time.
So we've actually just kind of in the market of getting some quotes for what we need to repair the place.
sure. We'll probably need a good amount of metal work with the number of doors and nails in this place.
Sure. Yeah. Have you met Tally yet? The owner of the Bent Nail?
No.
He's still in the same neighborhood. He's well, you hear Embrick. You see Embrick kind of roll his eyes. He's put the leather on the table in front of him. He kind of rolls his eye.
I get it. It's
Causes his flame. Can't you just let it go? And Avi just gives him a kind of like a glare and looks back and says, Don't flare up now, darling. Just making conversation with our new friends.
a little bit of history.
So about this Tally.
I'm just wondering what your impression is of him. If you've met him, we've been trying to get into business with him, but he seems. And again, you see Embrick sort of like he actually almost strangely, angrily interjects. He doesn't like that we're together. Fine, there it is. All right. Now we know ignorant people before. We faced it before. That's not a problem. It's nothing new. I'm not gonna waste any more time speaking about it. I'm gonna go home. You take care of this. And he gets up and sort of storms out and slams the door. I'm sorry. Embrick is a very moody person. Very,
Fiery temperament.
if you will.
Just eye daggers.
Is that? I was like, is that?
Eye
It's like, yeah.
I'm surrounded by
Seems
races.
understandable.
A little hot under the collar.
He's
Aren't there hairs made of flames? Even?
It's
Not
not actual
necessarily.
fire.
No.
It tends to have like the flare that makes it look like it.
It's a compliment to like
Yeah.
a humanoid figure. It's not like a mainstay.
Because I didn't know if I knew they had a humanoid figure, but I didn't know if it was like a flaming kind of a hair.
I think it depends on.
No,
who
their
you-
skin shows that they have sort of trace elemental kind of stuff about them, but their hair doesn't necessarily.
I think that's
Actual
more
flame.
like.
So Avi sort of looks
Yeah,
clearly
so
embarrassed.
instead of like
I'm
that.
sorry, Embrick
It's-
is just.
It's no problem.
It's
What
the way
about-
he always is. He's a very passionate man.
Understandable.
Something you need in
So-
that line of work.
So you were mentioning something about this this Tally.
Yes, Tally is the owner of the Bent Nail. They do. Apparently, he's a furniture worker. Does a lot of ornate furniture stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
But we invited him over for dinner a few weeks ago because we were gonna talk business, but in a friendly sort of way. We were gonna. Well, my suggestion was to sort of combine our work and make sort of steel and wood pieces that would benefit, both us and the Bent Nail. And it started well. We were enjoying things. It was a lovely meal. We had some nice conversation. But as the night went on, Tally seemed uncomfortable with the touching, the the affection that Embrick and I were showing
Probably
to
jealous.
each other. Towards the end of the meal, we talk sort of began again about this arrangement that I'd suggested, and he just flat out rejected the offer. Made no sort of attempt to explain why, and he left before he even finished. Embrick makes this exquisite calish chocolate cake. It's to die for. And he left that completely unfinished and just marched out. And he's been cold and dismissive ever since. And Embrick says he doesn't care. But clearly his feelings are hurt. Clearly there's some kind of issue going on. I don't think Tally is,
Progressive.
I don't think he's that way. I don't think he's a bigot. But I don't know what's wrong.
Mhm.
I mentioned because he might be helpful to have if you need woodwork done. But
Sure. Yeah. I will. We'll keep that in mind. Are you? I assume, are you guys part of the guild? Any of the local guilds? Are you?
oh, sure, we have some membership in a couple of guilds to make sure that we're, above board.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Well, would you guys be able to take a look around the place and give us maybe some quotes on what you guys would feel would be necessary work to be done?
Well,
Not tonight, of course.
Oh yeah.
no, I understand. We're more in the smithing industry.
Oh.
The steam and steel is an indoor forge. You understand?
Oh, I see.
We make a lot of we make weapons, we make armor pieces, that sort of thing. We occasionally make locks and that sort of thing. Things that are mostly made out of sort of shaping and forging.
Oh, your business is the forging element.
Yes. And she actually
the word.
unwraps the leather, and you can see inside what is a nice looking pair of smith's tools inside. A kit of smith's tools. Yeah. This was our little sort of welcoming present for you.
Oh, thank you.
We had a spare kit, and we thought, it's a great idea to kind of share our what we do with you, and sort of, make sure that you're interested in, if you happen to need anything forged or need any pre-made weapons, armor pieces, or anything, then please, come to us. We're right across the street,
Well, will do. Thank you.
Speaking of which, you'll probably end up speaking to him anyway, but if you can talk to Talon and maybe
Figure out what's going on there.
if you can figure things out, get him to maybe reconsider, we can stand to make a good bit of money off of this deal, but I just
You want us to be middlemen?
Well, if you're new, you're new in the area.
Negotiators?
You're new in the area. There's not. You're just
Al-Cid and Nora, blood pact.
you're a fresh group of people that he doesn't have any sort of. He'd have no reason to turn away or to not consider what you have to say. If we come, then we'll probably make the situation worse. Certainly, Embrick will.
Sure. Yeah, since chances are we'll probably see him anyway.
If you do that, let's say you need some of my inventory, 20% off.
Sounds good to reason.
discount.
Yeah. We'll definitely. Once we get settled, I'm sure we'll be meeting a lot more of the neighbors and people nearby, and we'll be sure to drop a line about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Quick question. Do you make bullets?
Oh, that's interesting.
Dagger eyes. Oh, for firearms.
These like hand cannon things.
Well, we've never been ordered to do that. No, we've never had an order for round shot or whatever they call it. Yeah, I mean, I understand. My husband and I, we understand how to make those things. It's pretty simple. We melt down metal and
Just get
cast
a
it.
mold and then
Yeah.
cast it. Yeah.
But no, we don't really traffic in
Oh, just something in our that got brought up in recent conversation.
that. I mean, if you need that, we can certainly get a hold of a mold and make
Yeah,
them
try,
for
yeah.
you. But we don't tend to work in that.
Sure, no problem. Well, thank you so much for coming by and for your lovely gift.
Oh, you're very welcome. I just wanted to stop in before it got too late and make sure that we extended our welcome and brought you this, of course. I hope we don't use it too often. Hope you come to us instead.
Oh, right.
I understand. It's more symbolic
Yes.
than anything else. Well, and I'll get out of your hair.
It's not corner.
It was nice to meet. What were your names again? I'm sorry.
Al-Cid.
Temperance.
Oh, that's right. You have the. Some of you are like vigilants. Right, of course.
From like a seat, just kind of a hand up. Nora Graves.
Well, nice to meet you.
And I'm Raven.
Well, and you're
Rhys is around here somewhere. Just
Where's he going?
I think I went to the
he's very
second
good
floor.
at he's very good at being.
Which is very hard to do. I think our first renovation is to make a stairway
Inside?
from here.
That's a major remark.
That is a major one, but
Well, thank you
we
for
don't
coming
have to
by.
go outside all the way around that
Have a good day.
entire
Our,
building.
our personal quarters are upstairs. We don't want. God damn it.
So difficult. That's why you get locks.
Well, they do make locks.
They do make locks.
They knocked. It's not like they just like it's like Kramered in. Jerry.
No, we're saying for like the stairway.
Oh,
Get the door. You can lock that door.
sure.
But you still don't want like drunk people stumbling up it.
I like the separation. The separation is
Well,
good.
it's
Stumbling up and then
I
down.
need quotes.
Yeah.
Because they're drunk.
Anyway, I guess we're playing matchmaker for local feuding.
Hey, for 20% off?
I agree.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
This is my line of work.
That's a.
I may have to pay
pretty
some
steep
therapy. I may have to do some therapy. Be a therapist. That's okay. Anyway,
No charming the person now. I don't have to tell you that's illegal, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I should try to handle this one.
You want to be therapist?
You don't have to worry about me magicking one day.
I only did that.
No, it's just the one.
I'm going upstairs.
Maybe an all.
I have a
What
good-
the hell? As I just like
Instead of just mere therapist,
like
an all.
brush myself off. Troll's go man.
You see, there's no one there. However, on the ground, in front of the Trollskull Manor door, is it's a bomb. Oof. No, it is.
I was like, oh come on!
It's a fucking Inspector Gadget. No, it is an envelope addressed to what looks like in a sort of a calligraphic sort of script to the residents at Trollskull Manor.
I looked down the street.
Completely sort of empty. You can see there's some activity going on across the street in what looks like that. Obviously, the Steam and Steel place. You can see sort of Avi and Enbrick. It looks like they're having a conversation. You can see sort of very slightly through the windows. But other than that, the street looks empty. The alley, I should say, looks empty. Yeah.
Who was it?
No one. Just a letter. God. Oh, come on!
No. So this
This is worse
envelope,
than Dragon Lair.
this envelope is actually, you can see, is actually made. It's like made of fine material. There's a wax seal on the back.
Save that seal.
Do we recognize the seal?
Try to get it off clean.
It seems to be it's some kind of heraldry. It's like a familial crest of some kind, but
Does it look
none that you
familiar
would
for my
you would
neighbors?
know off.
Okay.
Right, right.
So it's an automatic fail roll.
Neatly.
Yep.
And read.
Okay, so you open and you bring out a piece of fine parchment on which it's a relatively short. It's almost like a card rather than a proper sort of sheet.
Postcard.
Yeah. You can see that written on it is an invitation to a sort of a small party being held at Troll Skull Priory. You are to join Lady Bogescu and her folks for drinks and dance in 3 days' time.
All right, I realize that.
Dinner,
Excellent.
dinner will be served.
Dinner party. Oh.
We are dinner.
Have to get a dress.
Me too.
And we'll stop it. That seems like a good place to end for tonight. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So that's another one in the books.
I like it.
Momentum is regained.
Thoughts about what happened tonight?
I like social encounters.
Yes, they're fun.
I also, in like all role playing in general, I love being able to just like fail upwards.
Sure.
It always feels good.
Getting trapped by doctors.
Yeah.
Anything you didn't like? Anything that you're confused about? Anything?
No, I thought we had some...
I mean, what's going on? But that's by
sure.
design.
Yeah, that's by
Yeah.
design.
Everything that's happening beyond the
We'll connect all the threads eventually.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Oh,
As long as it's a well-written book, I imagine.
The sort of
I like how we're caught up in this, like... I
There's
didn't know...
big intrigue, and then there's neighbors.
Yeah, there's neighbors.
And
like-
that's cool.
Yeah, the idea that we have
there's stuff,
some-
but there's also other stuff.
God, what's that movie I'm thinking of? Is oh God, is it Tom Hanks? It's in it. It's basically about this it's like weird neighbor stuff.
the Burbs.
The Burbs, yes.
she's nice looking wolf. The weirdest line from that movie. Oh no, that's the Money Pit.
Yeah, sort of the proper inciting incident for like the meat of Dragon Heist hasn't happened yet, because this is sort of the period that gets you
Before the true narrative hook.
like it gets you
Settled in the world.
It gets you enhanced. It gets you hooked into the city and have you an opportunity to build relationships and to make things happen in the city before
This is really the prologue.
in a way it's kind of like the prologue. We're in technically chapter 2 of the book, but it is a kind of a prologue.
It's a long.
Yeah, we're establishing stuff. We still haven't met all of our contractors. We still haven't met we still haven't met like the rest of our neighbors, and really we don't even know that much about our house.
Yeah.
So
We gotta meet that ghost bro.
So by design, there's going to be a lot more in terms of social interaction and like upgrading the tavern and everything like that, rather than say
High adventure.
skirmishes or high.
I like how they
adventure.
also give us the capability of like the bar is like I won't say low hanging fruit, but it's like it's there, right? It's the easy bar to enter if you want to. Otherwise, it looks like we've got a forge, whatever we want to do with that, like so.